The military says it's reopened the Kerem Shalom crossing into Gaza, but a UN agency says no aid has yet entered. An Israeli tank brigade seized the nearby Rafah crossing between Gaza and Egypt early Tuesday. Despite differences with Israel over the Gaza war, President Biden says his support of the Jewish state is unwavering.
My commitment to the safety of the Jewish people, the security of Israel, and its right to exist as an independent Jewish state is ironclad, even when we disagree.
Mr. Biden used a Holocaust remembrance speech yesterday to condemn the recent rise in anti-Semitism. The May trial date for former President Donald Trump's classified documents case has been canceled.
The classified documents prosecution of former President Trump had been set to go to trial on May 20th, but the presiding judge has postponed it indefinitely. U.S. District Judge Aileen Cannon's order had been expected in light of still unresolved issues in the case, and because Trump is currently on trial in the New York hush money case. Trump faces dozens of felony counts accusing him of illegally hoarding classified documents he took with him when he left the White House at his Mar-a-Lago estate in Palm Beach, Florida, and then obstructing FBI efforts to get them back. Ben Thomas, Washington.
Ukraine's president says Russia has launched a massive nighttime attack on energy facilities across Ukraine, targeting 7 regions with more than 50 missiles and drones. 3 people, including an 8-year-old girl, were injured. U.S. and Philippine forces, backed by an Australian Air Force surveillance aircraft, have unleashed a barrage of high-precision rockets and sank a mock enemy ship as part of large-scale war drills in and near the disputed South China Sea. On Wall Street, Dow futures are down 71 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
If you factor pain relief that's natural, pain relief that works, and pain relief that attacks the source of the pain. That's the experience of tens of thousands of Americans who are taking Relief Factor right now. See their incredible video endorsements at relieffactor.com and then order your 3-week quick starter pack for just $19.95. That's less than $1 a day. Find out if it can work for you like it works for me by ordering your 3-week quick starter pack today. Relieffactor.com, relieffactor.com. Be the next success story.
Progressive knows finding your new home was a dream come true. You wanted to walk up with central air and a skylight, and you found it. Now, every Friday night, you get to fall asleep to the sound of your downstairs neighbors' dance parties. Progressive can't save you from your noisy neighbors, but we can save you money when you bundle your home and auto with us. Get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers not available in all states.
Another clothing chain is calling it quits.
Teen clothing chain Rue 21 reportedly plans to close all 540 of its stores after filing for bankruptcy last week. Stores will start their going out of business sales in about a month or so. The Pennsylvania-based chain tried to sell the business but could not find a buyer.
That's correspondent Tasha Stevens reporting. An appeals court has granted the Hong Kong government's request to ban a protest song, overturning an earlier ruling and deepening concerns over the erosion of freedoms in the city. Glory to Hong Kong was often sung by demonstrators during a huge anti-government protest in 2019. The song was later mistakenly played as the city's anthem at international sporting events instead of China's March of the Volunteers, in mix-ups that upset city officials. Critics have been prohibiting broadcaster distribution of the song. News and analysis at townhall.com. Panera Bread says it's discontinuing its charged sips drinks.
The drinks were tied to at least 2 wrongful death lawsuits due to their high caffeine content. Panera didn't say whether the drinks were being discontinued because of the lawsuits or health concerns. It also wouldn't comment on the timeline for removing them from stores. The St. Louis-based company introduced charged sips in the spring of 2022. In the fall of 2023, Panera was sued by the families of 2 people with heart conditions who died after drinking charged lemonades at Panera. Keith Peters reporting.
President Biden is racing into yet another battleground state. Mr. Biden is traveling to Racine, Wisconsin today, where he'll highlight a decision by Microsoft to build a $3.3 billion data center that's expected to create roughly 2,000 jobs. More on these stories at townhall.com. I'm Jeremy House.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The Travelician, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning, one and all. Welcome to Mornings with Mike Winters. I am he. That would be me, Mike Winters. Happy Wednesday, everybody.
Yes, sir.
We made it to the middle of the week.
Halfway day.
Right. We got another warm day.
Mm-hmm.
But after today,
it
starts dropping a wee bit.
Nice.
Like today, we got another red flag warning. It'll be windy and like highs near 90.
Yeah.
But tomorrow, 83.
Okay.
Sunny, less wind. Friday, 74.
Shut up.
Sirs.
Wow.
74. And then we got like a 50% chance of rain on Saturday.
What is it, spring?
I know.
Dang.
So,
Cool.
Yeah, so, yes, we got today.
Uh-huh.
But after today, we might see a little spring.
Cool. I'll take it.
And some moisture. Unfortunately, it's during the weekend, which was everyone has plans and baseball and all kind of stuff. But we need the moisture.
Yeah.
So maybe we can skirt it around events and
Sure. We can delay games a little bit.
Or delay them.
Yeah.
This afternoon. So maybe, the game, because the Goddard will play Friday night.
Mm-hmm.
And then they'll play at least one game Saturday.
Right.
And maybe two. But if it's a one-gamer, let's just say we're all root for Goddard here. They win the first game Friday night. And then they win second game. And then the game's over. And then it starts raining.
That's celebratory rain.
That's right. Because then by 11, it'll be early afternoon, and then the game should end, and then boom. Rain.
Gatorade rain. I was trying to explain to my friend's daughter about how, because her team is undefeated, their soccer team, undefeated this season.
Nice.
I said,
don't jinx it.
Why not, right? I said, when you guys get to the end of the season, what you should do is you need to take one of those big containers that you fill up with water, you fill it up with Gatorade, and as a team, you pick it up and you dump it on your coach. And she goes, why? I'm like, because it's a
tradition.
And I had no way to explain myself. Like, why do we do that? It's the weirdest thing ever. It's such a waste of Gatorade.
It's a tradition.
That's actually a prop bet you can get at the Super Bowl is what color Gatorade will they dump on the winning coach?
Oh, see that? I feel like there's too much inside information available on that one.
That's the thing, though.
Like, you could easily... I just feel like the Gatorade boy or girl, I don't know who's in charge of the Gatorade, could be bought.
Sure. Hey, boy, get over here.
It's purple.
Yes, sir? Yes, mister?
Yeah, right.
Just a 9-year-old boy in charge of the Gatorade.
No, they probably got some doctor. All he's in charge of is Gatorade. At the NFL level, I'm Dr. Jones Smith, and I am Doctor of Gatorade here.
The origin story of Gatorade is kind of fascinating. Have you ever seen
the
it or
Florida
heard it?
State and or Florida and
they kind of MK Ultra'd those boys, though. They put them through round after round after round of taste tests.
I feel like here's a movie.
Like putrid, just like saltwater liquid.
Yeah. I feel like there's a movie about it.
There's probably a
movie. I don't know if it's a
if there's not, there will be some soon.
if it's certainly not one on Netflix or one
Kevin
of those.
Costner.
But if not, I feel like there was I don't know if it was made for TV movie, but I feel like there was a low budget movie About the
just
Gatorade
typed in
story.
Gatorade movie and it brought up Idiocracy.
That's Brondo.
That's Brondo. It's what plants crave.
Get that right.
That's funny. So I'm not seeing like a, let's see, Gatorade origin story.
I thought maybe it was a book or a TV series. I don't know.
I've seen it on like through YouTube videos.
Yeah, I feel like I've seen
The Sweat Solution. Okay, it says SEC Storied. The Sweat Solution. It was a TV episode of something.
Ah, see?
Mm-hmm.
I knew it was, I didn't think it was like
set against the 1965 and 1966 seasons of the Florida Gators football team. Yeah, it's a really interesting story though, because they went through like 17 formulations of Gatorade before they actually nailed it, and it took them like 14 of those iterations before they're like, y'all think maybe we should add some flavor? They were just doing like electrolyte solutions for the first 10 tries.
Well, now it's a whole world. Because there's like Gatorade chews.
Oh yeah, the chews. There's the Gator. Do you remember Gator gum?
Yeah,
I think you can still find it like online, but you're hard pressed to because it's the hydrating gum.
Yeah, so I bet if you're on an NFL roster or something, they probably have it sitting on a table in there somewhere you can grab
that. And I don't know if I've seen it like years ago. I saw it, but I haven't really looked for it. The gum with the liquid inside. Like back in the day, it was Dr. Pepper gum. That was like everybody.
Oh yeah, I remember those.
That.
Yeah,
that or the Orange Crush.
They had like the Gushers, or what did they call them? There was like a Gusher.
Well, the Gushers candy, that's definitely still
no, but there was like a bubble gum that had the Gusher in it.
Yeah,
I don't remember what it was called though.
They were just like fruit. It was like fruit explosions and stuff like that. But those are just they're gone now.
And then they used to do the cross flavors. Like the gum would be watermelon, but the goo would be cherry or lemon or something. Yeah.
Just to mess with your face.
That's right. Ice Cream Man. That's where I got all that stuff.
Y'all's Ice Cream Man was stacked. We had like popsicles and ice cream bars. That's what we had.
Ours had sodas. They had candy cigarettes, the cherry clans, and all those little lemon heads and all that. Andy Cap hot fries.
Wow. See, I'm impressed when they just have pickles. Like if my Ice Cream Man has pickles and does like snow cones. That's impressive.
My guy almost had a mini snack bar.
Dang.
I mean, yeah, you couldn't get sandwiches, nothing, but you get like the sodas, and I remember it was the 16-ounce bottles, glass bottles, and I was like, ooh, it's the big one, because normally you get the can, but he had the 16-ounce glass bottles, and that would have made a young lad happy.
Can I be honest? If I had the means to own and stock an ice cream truck, I don't think I would sell. I think I would just use it as my vehicle.
Personal.
Because that just seems like the coolest vehicle ever. Like, I have free access to all the ice cream I need.
Yeah, but you can't go to a park or nothing without being harassed by everybody.
You gotta paint it. You gotta downplay it a little bit.
Gotcha.
Paint it boring color like beige.
Okay.
Make it look like a family van.
So so it looked like a pedophile van out
No,
in the park.
No, not a pedo van. I said a family van, like beige with like a stripe down the side and like a spare tire on the back for no reason in a metal case.
Shag carpeting on the walls.
Shut up, Mike.
Yeah, you're describing a pedo van.
I'm gonna disable the music, okay? It's not gonna play the music.
You're describing something different.
Fine, I'll paint not a pedo van on the side of it.
Then we're good.
That's sure to dissuade them.
We're good. That'll keep them away.
There you go.
Actually, it will, I think.
This isn't what you think it is.
I'm referencing Big Bang Theory again, but there's a funny episode where the guys for a minute are talking and they said they're going to decide, well, we should open up our own comic book store. And then one of them, Sheldon, one of them said, yeah, we could get a van and drive around neighborhoods and pick kids up. And I was like, are you not listening to what you're saying right now? We do have a full slate for you.
We do.
Let me give you the rundown for today's show. Here in just a few minutes, we're going to be joined in studio by Pat Boone, candidate for State Senate District 27. He's a Republican candidate, so we'll sit down and have a conversation with Pat here in just a few minutes. Not the country star. I know a couple of people are saying
That's been throwing me off this whole time. I'm like, wait, Pat Boone is here?
Not the singer. Different Pat Boone. He's a rancher.
I'll text you.
I mean, I don't know if he can sing.
I
can ask, but he's not known for singing skills.
Like when you find out you got a Jimmy Dean in studio that doesn't make sausage.
I'm sure there's a few of those. I hate sausage. In the 8 o'clock hour, we're going to replay our interview we had Amy McVeigh-Tejas from the Historical Society for Southeast New Mexico and author Dewey Johnson, who his newest book is actually a short story book. It's kind of a very quick read called The Last Doubleheader, talking a little Roswell baseball over Joe Bauman and all that. We had a great conversation with him about that. So we're going to play that in the 8 o'clock hour. And then in the 9 o'clock hour, about 9:15, we're going to play our interview we had yesterday with Mark Green from Harvest Ministries and Amelia Benavidez with the United States Postal Service. This Saturday is their Stamp Out Hunger food drive, the letter carriers food drive, the annual event. So we want you to leave food out by your mailbox this Saturday for your letter carriers to pick up. So we'll play that interview here about 9:15.
Did they leave a flyer or anything?
No, not this year. I didn't see one. So
really want to see if they went with the family circle theme.
Yeah, I've been looking, and I don't think they did. Like I saw, because it's across the country, and so I saw the Albuquerque on the news. They're talking about it there, and they didn't have it either. They had another. Okay. So I think they changed the
maybe we've collected
the marketing of it. Yes, maybe it's moved on. And is it Family Circus or Dennis the Menace? I always had that in my debate.
I always remember it being Family Circus.
So I always remember it was Dennis the Menace. So I don't know. It could be one of those.
Every year they switch it out or something.
Yeah, or
the Mandela effect.
The Mandela situation is what I'm thinking it is.
I remember the Berenstein Bears. I don't know what you guys are remembering.
Turns out it was none of the above. It was
Kubert.
It was Homer Simpson. 7:16. Let's get you up to date on the weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. The wind will be a little gusty today. We have a dry cold front dropping through. Pretty warm, though, upper 80s to about 90 on the high, wind gusting to 40 miles an hour. Overnight looks clear, low 50s, and then we're in the upper 70s on Thursday. Not too windy, and we should get a pretty sunny day, mostly sunny and mid-70s coming up on Friday. Few showers over the weekend. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 62 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 13%. Winds are calm at the moment. Red flag warning once again for today. That'll kick in at 11 a.m., remaining in effect through 8 p.m. this evening, mostly because of the fact that we have very low humidity and winds will be breezy, sunny, and a high of 89 today with northwest winds 10 to 20. Not as bad as we've seen, but breezy. Tonight, clear skies, overnight low of 54 degrees, west winds 15 to 20 miles per hour. Expect those winds drop down 10 to 15 after midnight tonight. Thursday, a little cooler, sunny, 83 for a high, northwest winds 10 to 15 miles per hour. Tomorrow night, partly cloudy and breezy with an overnight low of 55 degrees. Friday, partly cloudy, 74 the high. That's right, 74, mid-70s. Northeast winds 5 to 15 miles per hour. Friday night, we do have a 20% chance at showers after midnight, mostly cloudy, 56 otherwise. 50% chance of rain for Saturday, mostly cloudy and 76 for a high. 30% chance of rain Saturday night, mainly before midnight, mostly cloudy, overnight low of 54, and a 20% chance of rain Sunday, partly cloudy, 82 the expected high there. All right, 7:18, we're going to take a quick 2.5-minute commercial break. And then we'll talk with State Senate candidate Pat Boone on the other side. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters.
Maybe your AC unit needs a little tender loving care. If you don't know where to turn, then you don't know Jack.
Fergalicious.
In fact, they're downright funky.
Fergalicious.
Let the boys at Fergie's Plumbing and Heating get your AC unit ice cold, just like some of my lady friends. Don't let any fool make you lose your cool. Fergie's Plumbing and Heating. If you don't know Fergie, then you don't know Jack. 632-2660.
Fergalicious.
Senator Greg Nybert is known as a conservative Republican who is effectively fighting for us in Santa Fe. In the last session, Greg Nybert helped stop harmful legislation that would penalize New Mexico businesses with outrageously expensive financial burdens. He knows small businesses do not need more regulation. Greg Nybert helped defeat progressive attempts to make it illegal for New Mexicans to own certain types of firearms and firearm accessories. He knows it's important to protect our rights. During his legislative career, Greg has been responsible for stopping numerous anti-oil and gas bills. He knows it is important to protect our jobs. Senator Greg Nybert is the only candidate for District 27 who has a proven record of protecting us from big government intrusion. Greg Nybert stands for the rights of the people and pledges to continue his work. Please vote for Greg Nybert for Senate District 27.
Paid for by Greg Nybert for State Senate.
Have you been admitted to the University of New Mexico? Then it's time to sign up for new student orientation. Whether you're an incoming freshman, transfer, or non-traditional student, at NSO, you'll learn the ins and outs of life as a Lobo. From class schedules to student activities, services and resources to campus living, plus everything in between. So, are you Lobo ready? Your time at UNM begins at NSO. Register for your orientation at nso.unm.edu or apply to UNM at apply.unm.edu.
At Richland Motors, it's never been easier to sell or trade your current car, truck, or SUV for a newer model to hit the road in. Even if you don't purchase from Richland, they want to buy your vehicle for top dollar. But if you do buy from Richland, don't forget, they're the home of the powertrain warranty for life. That's a whole lot of confidence for you. See Richland for details, 2nd and Sycamore, and 1309 Southeast Main.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. Elephants use these skin folds on their bodies to crush mosquitoes. Mike Winters uses his to hide M&Ms. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 21 minutes after 7 o'clock, and joining us in studio this morning, candidate for State Senate here in District 27, Republican candidate Pat Boone joining us this morning. Good morning, sir. How are you doing today?
I'm good, Mike. How are you? I'm pleased to be here with you.
We're glad to have you here. And first off, just to get it out of the way right now, not the country singer.
No, I'm not. I do sing. Yeah. I do sing, but it's a church deal.
That's right. But yes, just to clear it up, two different people. Pat Boone for State Senate. Pat Boone singing two different people. Both nice guys. I don't know the other Pat Boone, but he seems like a nice guy.
I think he is. I don't know him, but I think he is.
But I guess first of all, before kind of talk everything, just give a little bit of background. Tell folks a little bit about where your history, your family, where you come from.
Sure. Well, I was born and raised in Littlefield, Texas, but it's kind of a roundabout story. My family started actually here.
Okay.
In Chaves County. I'm Patrick Henry Boone IV.
Okay.
And the first one in my family that had that name, Patrick Henry, was born in 1852 in Missouri. And he came out here to this area in 1871 at the age of 19 to seek his fortune.
Okay.
And he finally ended up here in Roswell and had a little ranch out here north of town on Salt Creek. And he had the first meat market here in Roswell.
Oh, wow.
And he ended up marrying a lady from Kenna, where I now live.
Okay.
And, she was
that's what does it.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm originally from D.C. I joined the military, met my wife, and I've been in New Mexico for 20-plus years. So
right.
I know exactly meeting your future spouse will change a lot of things.
Right, yeah. And he ended up being here. He was active in civic stuff here. He and a man named C.H. Bonney worked together to build these irrigation canals and things here in town. But his only son, my granddad, Pat Boone II, ended up back there at Kenna with his grandparents, and then eventually he ended up in Littlefield, Texas, running another ranch for an uncle, and consequently that's where I was born and raised because my dad, the third Pat Boone, was born there. And I always wanted to be here. The ranch was the only place I ever wanted to be. And
gotcha.
So after a couple of years of college down there in Texas, I came here, and I've been here since 1973. I married a girl from Kenna. The Good family is another pioneer ranch family from Roosevelt and Chaves counties, New Mexico, and I married her, and we've been married 49 years, raised our kids here. And
is there a Pat Boone V?
There is.
Oh, all right,
son.
awesome.
There is, and he. He's a basketball coach in Texas, has been for a good many years.
Excellent. So does that mean is there a Pat Boone VI?
There's going to be.
All right,
hope.
on the way.
He and his wife are about to have their first
Any
child,
Patricia
and
Boones?
It's a girl. No, this one. This first one is a baby girl to do this summer, but they've already got her named, and it's not Patricia.
Not Patricia, okay.
But they are hoping to have another one fairly quickly, and hope it's Sace. Because my son goes by Cinco. That's the only name he's ever known.
That's a cool nickname, by the way.
Yeah, it is. It's
Just
a
Cinco.
cool name. Yeah. And whenever he's recruiting on the road, he said that that name serves him very well because people remember it.
It does. It's a cool name. I mean, it looks good on shirts and things like that too. Just be called Cinco. A guy walks into a room, hey Cinco, you kind of it works.
It is. It is, and I've heard stories about that. He went to high school. He graduated from high school in Portales, and he rodeoed. He went to Eastern on a rodeo scholarship, and he and a friend of his were off going to some rodeos, and they had to take a break and come back to Portales because this friend of his had to go to a quinceanera for some friends of his. And he said, yeah, we walked in that place, and he said, I thought I knew everybody, but he said everybody in that place were going, hi, Cinco, hey, Cinco, hey, Cinco, what are you doing? And he said, I felt like I thought I was the one that was supposed to have the connections, and he ended up having all the connections.
Hey, think about that when you name your kids. It could carry them just walking in the room.
Yeah,
sometimes.
for sure.
So let me ask this. Obviously career, farming, ranching, your roots are here.
Right.
What made you say, you know what, it's time for me to step up and run for office here and say, you know what, I need to make a difference in Santa Fe?
Well, I started out at a very early age. At the age of 25, I got my first board job. I was asked to serve on the local Soil and Water Conservation Board, which I did for a number of years. And then I served on the Elida School Board for a number of years. And then I served on the Roosevelt County Electric Co-op Board for a long time.
Gotcha. So you've always been kind of invested in the community. It's hey, when I'm farming and ranching, I want to make sure I serve on in these various roles that are kind of, let's face it, they're all servants positions. Right. You're serving on a board on something, you're answering to a lot of people.
Right.
Just depending on what the board is.
Right. But my springboard to get me to where I am today was, without a doubt, New Mexico cattle growers. I started being active with them, probably 25 years ago, and it just built and built until I kind of worked my way into regional vice president, and served there 3 years, and then I served 2 years as president-elect, which is the lobbyist of record for because New Mexico Cattle Growers is a presence in Santa Fe every session. We go up there and we lobby for the good stuff and lobby against the bad stuff.
I'm just curious, since we're kind of talking about the cattle growing side here. I know I get a little all over the place, but I'm curious, with your experience serving with the cattle growers, being a rancher, your life here, how much has New Mexico impacted your job and your industry and what you do as a cattle grower? When you started doing this versus you doing this today, how different, either good or bad? Have you experienced personally on that?
Well, the experiences I've had being in leadership and being in service within my industry has just prepared me for a step further. And when this came up, Stuart Engel has been a friend of mine for a long, long time, many years, and I've worked with him in Santa Fe when I was up there with cattle growers, and we've just had lots of good discussions, having a similar background for a vocation, and then having a little bit of interest on my side in politics, and it's just helped me. It's just accelerated me to the point where when this job opportunity came open, I felt like it was something that I needed to pursue, and I had close friends that were urging me to do it, and Tina and her husband Deward were two of them right at the front of the pack that were urging me to consider this, and it was a difficult decision because here I am at the age of 70, and
you look. I would have never guessed that. You look very good for 70. I would have downed you a little bit.
Thank you. Hard work will help you along, but it's not good on your feet and legs, but it's pretty good for everything else. But anyway, when I got to this point, I decided I've sat back and complained about how things don't suit me, nationwide and statewide, how I'm not happy about the way things are going, and I really need to just step up and try to be part of the solution instead of being part of the problem.
I get it. It's fun to sit in the peanut gallery and take pop shots sometimes.
Right.
But you're right. If you want change to happen, you got to roll up your sleeves.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, and we got enough people in the peanut gallery. I guess. Am I allowed to say that anymore? I don't even remember. I don't remember the rules.
I have no problem.
I don't remember the rules anymore. I don't remember.
I have no problem with it at all. Yeah.
So let's kind of look now, like what, now that you're saying, you know what, I'm rolling up my sleeves, I'm running for District 27 State Senate here. What's kind of your passion project? What are you hoping to, you get to Santa Fe? Because I know, especially, coming from, let's face it, how politicians should be, coming from the working world,
right? And
then, not being professional politicians here,
right?
Now that you've made that decision to go forward, what's kind of been your passion projects and the main tentpole things that you really want to tackle as a state senator?
Well, my passion projects, number one, without any doubt, is getting the border closed. I believe that the open border, as we've had it the last number of years, has been detrimental to every phase of our lives.
You turn on the news every night and you see what's going on a daily basis. And we're in the heart, right in the center of it.
Yeah, I think it affects us greatly. And they think they have a handle, and they think they know how many are coming across, but they have no clue.
Mm-hmm.
Southwestern and South Central New Mexico is a sieve. People are just coming across there daily by the hundreds, if not more, and they're coming into our country unvetted, unchecked, and I just feel like it's a very detrimental thing to us. I think it's ominous, is what
Absolutely.
I think. I think it's just looming over us.
To your point a little bit, I remember this was about a year or two ago, getting a chance to talk to some Border Patrol people that spend a lot of time in that area.
Right.
And not only is it just the trafficking of people and the cartels and stuff, but they're not even trying to hide it as much anymore. Like,
True.
you hear the unique ways about hiding drugs in cars and all. They said they're getting so bold and blazing. It's really getting so bad that they're not even trying to hide it anymore.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
To your point, what you're saying here, and this is the same things I'm hearing for people that actually sit here on the border day in and day out.
Right.
Seeing who's coming in and who's going out.
Right. Right. I'm acquainted. I know people that live down there, both here and in Texas, and they're living a life that an American citizen shouldn't have to live. They live every day in fear because they don't know what's coming.
Sure.
And a lot of these people coming across the border, they're not coming up here to work. They're not coming up here to make a better life for themselves. They're coming up here to take advantage and do things that we don't need to be happening here.
Absolutely.
So that's my number one. I feel like we need to get the border closed. We need to go back to orderly immigration. We need to vet everybody that comes through here. I have a personal connection to that. My maternal grandfather, came through Ellis Island in 1914 from Sweden. He ended up in Chicago, raised 4 daughters.
Did you ever get a chance to go to Ellis Island and see the names in the books and everything?
No, I never have.
It's pretty cool to do.
Never have.
One time in my life, I got to go see some of that when I was a kid.
That's
really
on my
cool.
bucket list.
Yeah,
it really is. Cool. But he came here then and made a life for himself and his family, and never took one penny of government assistance. He worked and made a place for him and his family, and he wanted to be an American. He wanted to assimilate into society. Sure. He wanted to be part of it. He was so proud to be an American.
Sure.
And there's not a lot of that I see anymore. They bring their culture with them, and they want to celebrate their culture and not the culture of being an American, being in the greatest country in the world.
Sure.
They just want to take advantage of what's here. And I'm growing weary of that. And I just felt like this might be an opportunity. Past there, education is tops on my list. I don't want to slight the teachers and the administrators that are doing such a good job across the state, but our education department, our education hierarchy, if you will, in my estimation, they're not doing a good job. And I would advocate going.
The numbers prove that.
Yeah, they do. They do. I mean, we're
You're 49th and 50th in every category. You can't slap yourself on the back saying "attaboy." Right, you can't do that.
Right. We are either last on the list or we're competing very strongly for last on the list, and we can do better, and our children deserve better. And that's my passion. But I do know there are good teachers and good administrators that are working hard.
Sure.
But I feel like we need to go back to the days of the old state school board. I believe we need more local control. I believe we need to give control and authority back to our local school boards and not just have it with the superintendents.
Sure.
I think we need to go back to the old ways because I think they worked well, and I think local people have a better feel and a better they just connect better with our kids and with our schools, and I think that's where the control needs to lie, and I think the state just needs to be an overseer,
sure,
if you will.
I kind of want to because of the position you're going for. You know, as a state senator, especially a conservative state senator in the state of New Mexico, every room you're going to walk into, you're going to be outnumbered and outgunned.
Sure.
And so, do you have a lot of experience in that with because it's one of those things, we all know New Mexico at this point, and I've said this on this radio, I'd love New Mexico to get back to the middle. You know, we talk about left, right, conservative.
Exactly.
Sure, conservative. I'm like, I'd like to get in the middle first,
Sure. Yeah.
before we start talking conservative. So obviously, to even get anything done, you're going to have to talk to people and sway people. I mean, how have you thought about that side and because talking with our legislators, our senators, and everything else, they're always on that island and having to fight those battles.
Sure.
Have you thought about that side?
Yeah.
Because you're just by default as a conservative New Mexico state senator, you're in the battlefield already.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. I understand that greatly, Mike. But one thing, the thing with me is that I have a very deep faith in God.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to try to beat anybody over the head with it, but that's what gets me through each day.
Gotcha.
And that's what allows me to face those kind of battles. I'm not afraid of anybody, and I'm not afraid of anything. He's prepared me. He prepares me every day, and there won't be a decision I make that won't come across the throne of God.
Sure.
And like I say, I'm not gonna make people believe like I do, or try to make people believe the way I do. But that is the way I believe, and that's the way I'm going to look at things, and that's where my strength comes from, and that's what I mainly want to hammer on. Is that's where my strength comes from.
Absolutely. So, as far as time and everything else goes, like you said, you do farming and ranching, and this is something that I don't think some people realize, but some people don't, is especially at the state level, and should be at the federal level too, but that's another conversation, is that's not a full-time job.
Right.
You have a day job. You've got a ranch to run. You got all of that. Looking at this, I mean, do you look forward to that challenge, or do you get to is it some point where your personal life here all right, I'm 70, my sons, I got family that can kind of handle the business. Does it, or do you still keep a foot in both worlds here when you do this?
I'm going to have to hire some help, full-time help, because my son is not home and my daughter isn't either. So,
sure.
And probably have no designs on coming home, at least for this period of time.
It sounds like they got other interests and
they do. They do. But I am going to have to hire some full-time help.
Yeah.
I am. But ordinarily we run about 500 cows. But with the weather that we've had since 2011, we've cut our cow herd down, and we don't have near that many. But it's still a full-time job.
Sure.
Not a full-time job, but it is a big job. And I am going to have some help there.
Gotcha.
So I'm fully prepared to do that. And whenever one of the questions that kept
I was saying, you had to put a monster Boone Ranch, might be hiring some people here. Apply within.
Yeah, exactly. I am going to have somebody as soon as, about dark on June 4th, we're going to know where we're going to have to go.
Yeah, pretty quick, whether you got to get busy or back to ranching here.
Right.
But yeah, absolutely.
Right. But I'm at my age, I'm looking at that anyway.
Sure.
I mean, I'm fixing to have to start bringing some help in. Hopefully it's going to start raining again.
You mean you don't want to do this forever?
Well, well, I love what I do.
Sure.
And it's going to be really hard to step aside.
Sure.
But there are some things I've already had to give up because of my age and because of my physical limitations. But but I do love what I do,
Gotcha.
and I'm not going to give it up easily.
Absolutely.
But I love cows, and I love horses, and I love the land, and I love the people that are around me. And one of the questions that burned me so deeply whenever I was trying to make the decision about whether I was going to do this or not. My father-in-law's health is bad, and he's been a big force in my life, and my wife has been having to dealing with all that, and just several issues. And I kept saying, my family needs me. My family needs me. I can't do this. My family needs me. And then
torn. Yeah, I get it.
And then one day, just sitting in my chair there in front of the TV, it came, well, that's exactly why I need to go do this, is because of my family.
Yeah.
And I need to try to make some effort to protect their future and to do what I can to make things what I think is better.
Sure.
And I have no illusions of thinking I'm going to go up there by myself and do something.
Sure.
I know that I'm going to have to get up there. We're going to have to gain some numbers on our conservative
Make some
side.
friends. Yeah.
Make some friends, yeah. And like you were saying, my dream is to come to the middle and have it. New Mexico's always been what they are.
Yeah.
But there's always been a divide, but there's always been an agreement to disagree, or a disagree, however you want to say it. And we've always had a discussion. We've come up with what's best for the majority of the people, and we've moved on.
Sure.
It has not been that way the last few years. It's been the rule of one party, pretty much one group.
Well, and for folks that have lived in this state any kind of time, your whole life or a couple of years, you tend to notice. You see, we joked earlier, or not joking, 50th and 40th. It's not just education. There's a lot of categories that if you check the boxes in New Mexico, if they're not last, they're in the bottom 5.
Exactly.
And this is to your point. This is the history of New Mexico. It's before it was even a state. And I tell this almost every time I have a person, running for office in here. You want to know why this state's such a hot mess? Go to the town of Lincoln, New Mexico, and just spend the day reading the signs, reading the courthouse. Go to the thing, and and you see the cattle ring, the whole history there, and all. That's New Mexico history. That's government. And guess what? When it became a state in 1912, many of the same ideologies and stuff carried over, and we've been literally playing behind the 8 ball since day one because it's been corrupt. Style of politics since the Young Gun movies and all that. That's part of New Mexico history when you look at all that. That's why we are what we are. And so to some point, it's almost the history of this state. You know what I mean? It's just the way the families and the generations of people have run the state.
Right.
And it may work in some circles, but it creates a lot of problems that we're dealing with now. We get, who's that? And this is where we've got to fix.
Right.
And until we get that mindset of the origins of this state and change that, and to change it into more, that's, to me, the only way we're going to start seeing us go from 49th and 50th to 25th.
Yeah. Well, that's
right.
Yeah, that's going to be a great improvement. 50% improvement or 100%. However, I'm not good at fractions,
but and really, I think that's what I always say. It takes people like yourself to sit there and say, you know what, it's time for us to expect better, do better, and hold the people accountable. That why are you doing it this way? This isn't the way it should be done, and so it takes people to call that out sometimes and to get it fixed.
Well, one of the main things with me is I look at the big picture of New Mexico as a state and as a player in our country's economy and in our world economy, and we cannot do some of the things we're doing, and we've got to have every sector, every industry, everything in our state producing at its full level.
Sure.
And I'm talking about public lands ranching, I'm talking about private lands ranching, and there's so many policies that are coming out of this administration that are threatening not only, they're wanting to take all this BLM and Forest Service land and put it in these monuments and things like that. And that land needs to be in production where there's tax base for the local communities, for the local schools.
Yeah.
And now they're coming after our private land. They're wanting to do the same thing with this legacy program that they're coming with. And they're just not giving it complete thought. They're going to take all this land out of production, and it's going to wreck the economy of our state.
Well, and this is something, and you can speak firsthand with your experience in your industry here. You know, we talk on the radio, and we'll talk with our politicians and various other people, and you know, we'll talk about, you know, how, you know, Bureau of Land Management, you know, the land in New Mexico, how much we eat up and take, and our farmers, our ranchers, our oil companies and things. It you know, the stringency and what we can do, what we can't do. But the thing that always gets me is, yes, BLM's battling and where is our state at in this point? Why isn't the state of New Mexico helping counties and municipalities to fight against BLM, or at least work with BLM? And is there any history of the state actually defending the rancher and the farmer here against BLM, or do they always take the side? Because to me, it seems like, from the outside perspective, they just lockstep with BLM, and you guys have to fight against the state and BLM and everybody on that side.
Well, I think Tina could maybe address that to some degree, since she's a county commissioner. But no, I would think that that's one thing we're lacking in.
Yeah.
But if Tina, if you've got a comment.
Yeah, go ahead, Tina. Pat's
jump in there.
We got you here. Please tell us.
Well, lately, no. I don't think that the state has helped us at all. I think that's part of the whole thing that's going on in the state right now is every single thing we got going, whether it's the endangered species or what it is, it's all about control. And it's all about getting control of your lands.
Sure.
Because it all goes into that. So, I don't think the state's helping us a bit.
I'm getting to that point is that's what we need. We need people in Santa Fe that says, hey, wait a minute, why are we not supporting our ranchers and our companies instead of just lockstep with BLM here?
Exactly. And, you know, everybody talks about oil and gas. Oil and gas is great, and that is what fuels our state. But farming and ranching is what feeds America.
Absolutely.
So you have to have
it.
I say this 100 times. The agricultural industry is got the model that no one wants, because it has less and less people entering the industry and more demand. It is the one industry that we have less people getting into because, and let's face it, farming and ranch generations are giving up because of the hurdles and hoops and the nonsense they got to jump through. And so we're having less and less people globally producing food and more people needing it. That's not a good equation. So that's what we got to address. That's where we got to, you know, this is why, you know, the people that are going to feed the next generation of people, we got to support that. We've got to find ways to foster that at the same. And this is another point I want to make. If you want to talk the green and the energy and that side of it, I guarantee every oil and gas company in the state of New Mexico goes above and beyond whatever federal regulations are out there. They work hand in hand with local. I've seen it time and time again where oil companies are working with, because guess what? The people that work at the oil company, they're locals. They live at the same place. They want a clean place just like you want a clean place. Right. They work with people. They do this stuff. So when you hear this nonsense about big oil and fracking, no. They 99.9% of these oil and gas companies not only meet but exceed whatever regulations or limitations the federal government has put on them. So just know that.
Well, one thing that is going against us greatly is the average American. Whenever I was president of cattle growers, I quoted this statistic a lot, is close to 3 generations removed from the farm. That's having knowledge and intimate knowledge of what it takes to be a farmer or a rancher, and so therefore they are ignorant. And I'm not using that in a bad way. I'm just saying they do not know.
They lack the knowledge.
They lack the knowledge. Yeah. Yes, and so they don't give credence to what we do. They don't know what we do. They don't understand how important we are, and too many people think their food comes from the grocery store. Okay. Literally, I've heard that statement in Santa Fe, in the Roundhouse. I've heard that statement.
These are people that were elected in that building.
I mean, it's just insane that people think that. Yeah. But they do, and that's where we're up against a tough spot right there, because we you hear this all the time. We've got to tell our story, and it's gotten cliched over the last few years, but we do.
Mm-hmm.
We've got to tell our story about what we do, who we are, and how important we are.
And trust me, I guarantee, especially your generational family ranch, they know that land. They know what's best for that land 9,000% better than any other human being on the planet.
Right.
Especially some bureaucrat in D.C.
Right.
And you got to remember, without the farmer, you're going to be naked, you're going to be homeless, and you're going to be hungry.
Absolutely,
because it takes a farmer for all of those.
Yeah, every single thing in your life you can thank a farmer or a farmer rancher for in some way, shape, or form. Absolutely,
Right.
The ag industry is the most important industry, I would argue, in all of the, without the food, without that, we can't do anything else. You look at military. You hear sayings like the Army marches on its stomach. Without the food, without that, there's no military, there's no Army. Food is what makes the world go. And if we don't support the people growing it and making and producing it, then we're doomed for failure.
Right.
That's just these simple facts.
Yeah.
Simple facts right there.
Right.
So I just seeing the time, we're running a little short here, but I do want to give you a chance to kind of anything we didn't talk about or anything that we want to make sure that you want to let people know about you that we got skipped around, or sometimes I get sidetracked a little bit here.
Well, I guess my main thrust is that I'm a Christian. I'm pro-life. I love the people of this district. I love the land of this district, and I do want to serve. And I don't want to try to come across as just an ag guy. I want to come across as somebody that's interested in all of the issues of this district and of this state, and I want to do my best to do that.
Let's face it, District 27 is an ag district.
Yeah,
We're a producing district.
It is.
We're not in Bernalillo County here. We're not the things we care about are the things that make this state go, and unfortunately, we have to tell the people in Santa Fe and Albuquerque exactly what that is because they're clueless.
Right. Well, I guess maybe a closing point for me would be that we have got to realize that to bring about the change that we feel we need, we've got to come together, and we've got to vote. We've got to turn out. We can't do anything with this 25 to 40% voter turnout.
Sure.
And we've got to turn out and vote. And then I read a quote by Benjamin Franklin the other day. It said, "We must hang together, or most assuredly we will all hang separately." And think about that. I mean, that's pretty profound.
Absolutely.
Whenever you think, if we don't hang together and come to a collective belief of where we need to go and what we need to do, we're just shooting our own self in the foot.
Absolutely.
And so we need to do that.
And quite frankly, that is a lesson, the New Mexico, but Republican Party of New Mexico.
Right,
definitely
exactly.
We needs to kind of foster, because let's face it, we all see the numbers. They're getting their butt kicked.
Really. Yeah, we are.
But, of course, early vote and getting underway here. If they want to learn more about you, they can go. Of course, you have your website. Is it patboomforstatesenate.com?
I think patboomforsenate.com.
That's it. I was trying to do it off the top of my head.
Yeah.
And you can go there. Of course, you do have Facebook as well.
Right.
If you want to get more involved in the campaign, helping out locally here in Roswell, is there a person here they can contact, or they just go through your website?
Just
Facebook?
go to my website.
Okay. And that way we'll get you, if you want to get yard signs and get more involved in the campaign, various ways, shapes, and forms. And but folks, get involved. This is, if I say this, I say it about Roswell. If you want a good Roswell, the only way, if you're waiting for someone else to do it, you're going to be waiting a while. You need to roll up your sleeves and do it yourself.
Right.
No different here. You want a better New Mexico, you got to get out and vote. You got to go. We can, as we started the conversation, it sure feels good to get out there and take pot shots and yell and scream in the ether there. But the only way to fix it is rolling up your sleeves, getting out there, voting, supporting the people that you believe in your values, and getting out there and vote. And you mentioned something earlier. There's been elections in the past, particularly in southeast New Mexico, where voter turnout was the reason why their candidate lost. Not because of, it was a lack of people just thinking, oh, I don't need to show up. And you can't sleep on this anymore. If you do it, you're seeing what happens.
Right.
Excellent.
Yep.
Did we get it all? Is there anything we wanted to mention? Tina, is there anything we got you want to put on the public's radar as far as legislative stuff or things to be looking out while I got
would like
here?
to say something about Pat, though.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so Pat Boone, I believe, is the only candidate that we have running for this race that has a vested interest in all 5 counties. He and his wife, they've been married 49 years. Their families have had land, ranched, whatever, in all 5 counties, because District 27 is not just Chavis, it's Chavis, Roosevelt,
Redistricting
Devonta,
has really made
Curry,
we'll just say fun.
Lee, and they've been in all 5 counties.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he does have a vested interest, in this district is about all of the people, not just one area, and I think Pat will do an excellent job in every county in this district.
Excellent. And, of course, at the beginning of the conversation, you mentioned you got Chavis County, Texas. You got a foot in a lot of different.
Yes, sir.
Just
He
saying,
does.
you know,
Right.
so
Right.
absolutely. But again, PatBooneForSenate.com is the website. Look for Pat Boone. If you don't remember just Pat Boone, New Mexico State Senate, it'll be the first thing that pops up on your Facebook and social media. That way you can follow if you want to get more involved in the campaign, get yard signs or beat streets, knock on doors to help out in any way, shape, or form. Definitely going to do it. Are you going to be around speaking anywhere around town anytime
I'll be
soon?
here Monday night.
Okay.
They're having a candidate forum over here at Grace Church Monday night. I think it's at 6 o'clock, and we have an opportunity to speak there. I'll be here.
To come and then usually those are great times afterwards. You can sit or before, and you got a few questions or want to talk to Pat one-on-one. Great time to do that.
Sure,
stuff.
sure.
So
I'll be
we
there.
can pick your brain and talk and chew the fat a little bit there.
I'll be there.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you guys for coming.
Thank you, Mike.
for sharing, and good luck in this race. And obviously, as our state senator, we'd love to have you on from time to time to let us know how many headaches they're giving you up in Santa Fe.
I'll be glad to be here. I'll be glad to talk about it.
I'm just going to look because he looks pretty happy now. We see him a year from now. I'm going to see if that same face is there. Thank you.
You bet, Mike. Thank you. Thanks for having us.
All right, 7:56. Let's pause for sports update. Quick break before news. Don't go away.
In a time where humans and technology collide, ineffective technology plagues our businesses, schools, and healthcare environments. DSI Document Solutions has emerged as New Mexico's safeguard from the pains of slowed productivity, providing our nation's top business technology, workflow strategies, and support. DSI is here to boost your productivity and reduce your costs. Get ready for success. Visit our new website at dsinm.com.
It's time for the Chavis County Sports Report. State tennis championships begin in Albuquerque today with singles and doubles the next couple of days, and then turns into the team category for Friday and Saturday play. Let's take a look at the top seed for athletes from our area. That would be Avery Williams in the girls Class 1A through 4A draw. That's all those small schools put together, everything except for Class 5A. Avery is from Goddard, and she is the second seed. She'll be taking on Linda Rundell from Santa Teresa this afternoon at 4:30. That'll be at Albuquerque Academy. And 1 through 4A boys singles, Weston Zhang from NMMI will be taking on the 6th seed. That's Aiden Gonzalez from St. Mike's. And you've also got Zoe Williams from Goddard in the 1 through 4A girls draw, playing number 5 Sophia Parra from Los Alamos. The Sports Report brought to you by DSI. Call DSI for all your office technology needs. I'm Eric Butler at Roswell Talk FM 106.5.
With the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Bill Alexander. Ride-hailing company Lyft projected higher than expected gross bookings and core profit for the current quarter on Tuesday, driven by robust demand for its services and benefits from new user and driver features. It also reported first quarter revenue and profit above expectations. Tyson Foods shares suffered their worst one-day decline in a year after the U.S. meatpacker warned that consumers are under pressure from persistent inflation and high commodity costs. Cruise operator Royal Caribbean Group is in discussions with new and existing markets around the world to recruit thousands of workers to staff its ships and private destinations to keep up with record cruise demand. Spirit Airlines forecast a loss in the second quarter as its earnings continue to reel from the grounding of a number of its aircraft, as well as bloated industry capacity in key markets. Its shares were down 11.4%.
New Mexico Governor Lujan Grisham has pursued an agenda to seriously impair and remove your Second Amendment rights to use, own, or purchase firearms and firearm-related items in our state. Last legislative session, District 27 Republican Senator Greg Nibert worked effectively and successfully with the NRA and other pro-Second Amendment groups to defeat the governor's attempt to ban or register firearms and accessories. We must retain legislators like Senator Nibert, who has the proven knowledge, skills, and experience to stop the liberal progressives from imposing upon our constitutional rights. Senator Nibert is the only candidate running for Senate District 27 to be rated A and endorsed by the NRA. Please vote to retain Senator Greg Nibert for Senate District 27.
Paid for by Greg Nibert for State Senate.
Ramping up efforts to close the gaps in a possible agreement for at least a temporary ceasefire. 2 Republican senators have introduced a bill that would place violent anti-Semitic protesters on the FAA's no-fly list.
Senators Roger Marshall of Kansas and Marsha Blackburn of Tennessee have unveiled a bill they call the No Flights for Terrorists Act. It would place on the no-fly list any student, faculty member, professor, or paid agitator if they have called for violence against the Jewish people, been disciplined by a school for such activity, or for pledging allegiance to terrorist groups. Marshall says under the Biden administration, the pro-Hamas protesters are promoting terrorism with no fear of consequences. Bob Agnew reporting.
Another significant day of severe weather is forecast for today, with a main focus across the Ohio, Tennessee, and mid-Mississippi valleys. In Portage, Michigan yesterday, this resident said he saw a storm coming and realized he needed to be in a safer part of his home.
I was looking out my picture window, and I was maybe staying upstairs a little longer than I should. I saw the wind blowing from one direction and immediately turned to another direction. I said, no, that's not right, and then headed for the basement.
Audio courtesy of WZZM. Ukraine's president says Russia has launched a massive nighttime attack on energy facilities across Ukraine, targeting 7 regions with more than 50 missiles and drones. Officials say the bombardment blasted targets in areas including Kiev and parts of the south and west. On Wall Street, the Dow is down 31 points. The Nasdaq is off by 46. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Here's an important message from the Diabetes Solution Center. Do you like pricking your fingers to test your blood sugar levels? No one does, but it's important to maintain your health. And now, by wearing a small remote device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you don't need to prick your fingers anymore. It's easy to use and helps you make more accurate diabetes treatment decisions. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now. And if you have Medicare or most major insurance coverage, you may be able to get a new CGM at little to no out-of-pocket cost. Shipping is free, and we'll even bill your insurance company for you. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now to learn how to end the painful finger sticks and get your own continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, at little to no out-of-pocket cost.
Prosperity. A new study finds all states are not created equal.
A new study from U.S. News and World Report lists the states from best to worst. The report ranks all 50 states based on factors including healthcare, education, public safety, infrastructure, state economy, natural environment, and opportunity. Utah topped the list, while Louisiana came in dead last. Florida ranked number 1 in both education and economy.
That's correspondent Tasha Stevens reporting. Toyota has reported that its profit for the fiscal year that ended in March doubled over a year earlier, as strong vehicle sales and a favorable exchange rate lifted results for Japan's top automaker. Toyota said its profit in the last fiscal year totaled 4.9 trillion yen, or $31.9 billion, while sales jumped 21%. News and analysis at townhall.com. House Speaker Mike Johnson and Georgia Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene met for a second day on Tuesday in an effort to end her attempts to oust him from office. Green says one of her demands is a guarantee of no new special counsels against former President Donald Trump.
President Trump is our presidential candidate. He is being abused, and the American people are fed up with it. It is absolutely the right thing to do to end the special counsel. These requests are not complicated, and also demanding that we have a 1% cut in our budget is the right thing to do for the American people who are over $34 trillion in debt.
Johnson says the cases against President Trump amount to election interference.
This is all wrong. It doesn't matter what political party you're in. You have to look at this. If you look at this objectively, you know deep down that this is wrong.
Green also wants to end funding for Ukraine. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The demolition, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 2 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 2 of Mornings with Mike Winters, right here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. Happy middle of the week. Happy Wednesday, everybody.
Yes. Welcome.
It is.
I just stumbled on a story. KOAT was writing a story, I guess. They're talking about themed Airbnbs.
Okay.
And I guess there's one right here in our own backyard. Apparently in Abiquiu. It's the ABIQUIU.
Jocelyn said it.
Say,
I heard her in there right. Abiquiu.
Abiquiu, okay. In Abiquiu, New Mexico, there is a replica of the Up house.
From the cartoon?
From Disney and Pixar's Up. It says you can
float?
sleep inside of one of Disney and Pixar's most iconic homes, and yes, it floats. You'll explore Carl's world in this detailed recreation of his home, complete with more than 8,000 balloons and located in the scenic red rocks of what she said, New Mexico.
That sounds...
Right?
Abiquiu.
Abiquiu, yeah, that place.
That sounds cool.
It
your
does.
kids have kids and into that.
I'm intrigued. How does it float? I mean, because that's not enough balloon. I don't know how many balloons it takes to pick up a house, but...
I would imagine a lot.
I don't know, but that's kind of cool, though, yeah. It's a replica Airbnb house. Or a replica Up house.
I know it takes
Airbnb.
a lot, and the reason I know this... this one doesn't sound right, but it was a different time. Howard Stern show. Back when he was... right around the time when he left terrestrial and was starting on Sirius.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, he has his whack pack.
Yeah.
Well, one of his infamous whack packers at the time, who we're going to call him Eric the Little Person, because that's what they evolved him to.
Sure.
That's not what he was called at the time.
Sure. Teeny Eric.
Yeah. Well, they did a deal where someone said because he was in a little wheelchair, and he had I don't remember the medical conditions he had, but they were literally going to fly him in, and they were wanting to know how many balloons it'd take to get him to fly.
Awesome.
And it was an ungodly amount to
really?
get up. And he's just a little guy.
Well, the wheelchair too, though.
Yeah, I guess the wheelchair. Well, but I don't think they used like the chair. I think they used just a chair.
Now this is something I've always kind of wanted to do. This is like part of my like redneck heritage.
Yeah.
I've always kind of wanted to like strap myself to a lawn chair and just put weather balloons, helium-filled weather balloons up. There was a guy that did this. It was years and years ago. It was just like a lawn chair. He duct taped himself to a lawn chair and strapped some huge number of helium-filled weather balloons to this chair, and then just took off. He also had with him his gun, because the idea was he could shoot a balloon to lose some momentum or whatever. I can't remember exactly. I think he ended up getting tied up in like power lines or something. Something happened to the guy. He lived.
Okay.
He made it through. He just had to be rescued. It was a whole thing.
Because there's a whole lot of it. Don't sound like a good idea.
I got to find that story. 'Cause I remember vividly.
But anyway, so the
story.
Up House in Abiquium, New Mexico. Here.
It'd be kind of a cool
Is there
destination.
pictures?
I didn't see any pictures.
Okay,
no.
I'd be curious to see.
But
have you ever done Airbnb?
I have
never
not
done it.
personally. I have a friend who swears by it.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I'm a little. I like the concept. Like, yeah, you get a cool house and you go to, you want to do. I like that concept.
Mm-hmm.
But I see all these things and it's like these are like people's houses.
Yeah.
Like did some of them live there too?
No, it's weird, and it's honestly, if I'm being honest, it really is messing with housing markets, because people are coming in and scooping up all the livable homes and turning them into Airbnbs.
Okay.
Especially in places, tourist places like Ruidoso.
Yeah.
It's driven up the cost of living because everybody's scooping up all the cabins and properties to turn them into Airbnbs. And it really messes with the ecosystem.
I would imagine, but I just to me, I just have a real issue in sleeping in someone's house, especially a stranger, and just I don't know.
42 helium-filled weather balloons lifted Larry Walters in this aluminum lawn chair from San Pedro, California on July 2nd, 1982. Walters reached 16,000 feet, drifting into controlled airspace surrounding Los Angeles International Airport. Commercial pilots reported sighting him to the tower. So yeah, I think he ended up getting arrested.
I wonder if there was any of those, because it was a different time. And those pilots going, man, I got to stop drinking at the airport before I go.
Jim, you seeing this?
Yeah. I got to stop the 2 scotch before I get on the plane.
They always used to be pink.
I swear, when I was a kid, I thought you always saw pink elephants when you were drunk, because that was the whole thing in Looney Tunes, man.
I love that.
Is that even a thing anymore? Because when I mentioned pink elephants, there's probably generations of people who have no idea what I'm talking about.
At the same time, though, if you mention seeing birdies if you got knocked out, that's a whole other trope.
Yeah.
That people don't remember.
Yeah. Pink elephants.
That was all tweet.
Oh man.
Yes, pink. Hey, okay, I got a question. This is something I've been seeing this online. I keep seeing memes pop up that are referencing this. Have you heard the bear question yet? Have you seen any of these memes?
I guess I haven't.
Okay. Here's the basic question.
All right.
Over on TikTok and on some of the short form social media, guys are posing questions to women.
Okay.
Would you rather be stuck in the middle of the woods of a forest with a man, presumably a man that you don't know, or a bear?
Is that even a real question?
That's the question that's being posed all over them internets. And apparently 8 out of 9 of the women that are being asked are saying bear.
All right. If you're saying bear, get an appointment with a psychiatric therapist. Get some help. You have problems. If you'd rather be in the woods alone with a man or a bear and you choose the bear, you need to we got to work on the mental health.
I mean, I'm not
help.
sure.
You have a real skewed view of life right now.
You're a little too afraid of everything. Because I guarantee you, whatever you think that man is going to do to you, that bear is going to destroy you.
Yeah. Now, I'm assuming we're talking brown bear, black bear, grizzly bear.
Well, I don't think we're talking about Yogi.
Koala bear or panda bear.
Yeah.
just to clarify.
Right. The general the meme that I've been seeing is it's all bear. Yeah.
Kodiak, grizzly bear, brown polar bear of not Winnie the Pooh. Just checking.
So that's the question that's been going around.
I mean, panda. I'm like, a panda bear?
A red panda. Those things are a little vicious. They can be, at least.
But I see them things rolling around and stuff. I'm like, I kind of want to do that with them. Like, when I see those videos of the zookeeper going around with the panda bears.
It's not pandas. I'm going to say, ever since I found out koalas, it's koalas. Ever since I found out koalas
I've held a koala.
Yeah, but do you know they're like rampant with chlamydia?
I'm not going to do anything to it.
No. I mean, like, you come in contact with it, it like scratches your arm or something. Next thing you know, you got all over chlamydia.
I think you need to go with the lady who wants to hang out with the bear. At the
Anyways,
therapy. If you're that scared of a koala bear, I'm getting chlamydia.
I'm more just scared of what I'm going to have to report to people. Because it's a hard thing to say. So, by the way, I have chlamydia, and then the follow up is, see, I was at this zoo one time. It's sort of a hard follow up.
I just want to pet it.
Turns out he wanted to pet back. But yeah, that's the general question that's going around online, and the memes that I've been seeing pop up they're fantastic. Wow. It's just like bear. It showed a guy, a Smokey the Bear is what it was, and it was a statue of Smokey the Bear, and a girl had his arm around Smokey the Bear, and he had this really excited look on his face. He's like, "Yeah, I'd go with that bear."
Idiocracy is the thing, man.
Yeah,
we're getting closer. We're getting so closer. It's happening. It's evolving to that now. We're in that 500-year window.
It's becoming real. I can feel
it. Coming soon, Butbur. Your new burger joint. All right, it is. I probably should get an interview going here just all the time. We're going to replay our interview. We had Amy McVeigh-Tejas join us in studio from the historical side. Then we had author Dewey Johnson on the phone. Huh?
Do we ever?
Do we and how? But Dewey Johnson joined us, and of course he wrote a awesome book called the First Last Doubleheader, and it is if you love Roswell baseball history, Joe Bauman and all that. He's and it's very short read. It's not like War and Peace where you got 5,000. You know, it's like, oh man, you look at that and you're intimidated. It's like my legs are going to be tired from sitting on the toilet. That's really reading. You're like, legs and reading. What's that got to do with it?
Mike likes to sprint when he reads, so it's a very interesting process.
Yes, I do marathons, but only if I read while I do the marathon.
That's the only way he can speed read.
I've done it with an Ironman. It's hard to swim and read.
He mostly does the backstroke.
Yeah. But
he licks finger to turn page.
Yes. No. I do all my reading on the can, the way the good Lord intended.
Right. That's. I'm pretty sure that's where most decisions are made in this country.
That's right. The world has been solved thanks to sitting on the toilet. But anyway,
I got to imagine the Oval Office has a bathroom adjacent, right?
Oh, it's got to.
Yeah, that's where the thinking happens.
That's
you go
right.
to the Oval Office, then you go to the Oval Office's Oval
Office.
Office.
One of those secret doors, it's got to be a toilet. Right?
If not, well, there should be. There's gonna be after tomorrow.
I'm just wondering, like, how bad you got to go and you forget which secret door it is. Like, next thing you know, you're like, oh, I'm in the chief of staff's office. Where's your toilet? No.
I got to pull a book. Which book do I pull?
This is the Bill Clinton room. No, that's not it.
Of course, if you do it right, it's Uncle John's bathroom reader that you got to pull off the shelf.
My White House bathroom, it's just stacks and stacks of Uncle John.
That's all you need.
All right, 8:17, here's your weather.
Weather is brought to you by Bob Reed Pest Control. From General Pest Control, termite control, trees, shrubs, and yard treatment for both residential and commercial. Call the pest management professionals at Bob Reed Pest Control, 575-623-5344.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. The wind will be a little gusty today. We have a dry cold front dropping through. Pretty warm, though, upper 80s to about 90 on the high, wind gusting to 40 miles an hour. Overnight looks clear, low 50s, and then we're in the upper 70s on Thursday. Not too windy, and we should get a pretty sunny day, mostly sunny and mid-70s coming up on Friday. Few showers over the weekend. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 62 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity's at 13%. Winds are calm. We do have the red flag warning that kicks in at 11. Remains in effect through 8 p.m. Because hot, low humidity, little windy. The recipe for the bad weather stuff. So don't be throwing the butts out the window. Don't be doing welding in windy areas and all. You know the routine. Don't do any of that stuff. Sunny today, 89 for a high. Northwest winds 10 to 20 miles per hour. Clear tonight, 54 for an overnight low with west winds 10 to 20. Winds will drop down 10 to 15 after midnight. Sunny on your Thursday. a little cooler, 83 tomorrow for a high with northwest winds 10 to 15 miles per hour. Tomorrow night, partly cloudy and breezy with an overnight low of 55 degrees, east winds 20 to 25. Expect those winds drop to 10 to 15 miles per hour after midnight. Friday, partly cloudy, 74 for a high. See? Big drop there. Northeast winds 5 to 15 miles per hour. Little taste of spring for you for the weekend. 20% chance of rain Friday night, mostly cloudy, overnight low of 56. 50% chance of showers and thunderstorms for Saturday, mostly cloudy, 76 for a high. 30% chance of rain Saturday night, mostly cloudy, 54 for an overnight low. And a 20% chance of rain for the afternoon Sunday, partly cloudy and 82 otherwise. So one more day of hot, and then we start cooling off a little bit. All right, it's 8:19. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and then we're going to play our interview with Amy McVeiteus from the Historical Society and author Dewey Johnson talking about his latest book. That's up next. Don't go away.
New Mexico Governor Lujan Grisham has pursued an agenda to seriously impair and remove your Second Amendment rights to use, own, or purchase firearms and firearm-related items in our state. Last legislative session, District 27 Republican Senator Greg Nibert worked effectively and successfully with the NRA and other pro-Second Amendment groups to defeat the governor's attempt to ban or register firearms and accessories. We must retain legislators like Senator Nibert, who has the proven knowledge, skills, and experience to stop the liberal progressives from imposing upon our constitutional rights. Senator Nibert is the only candidate running for Senate District 27 to be rated A and endorsed by the NRA. Please vote to retain Senator Greg Nibert for Senate District 27.
Paid for by Greg Nibert for State Senate.
They're watching you. They see your social media posts. They follow your family, your friends, and your interests online because they're planning on taking your money. All of it. They're con artists. They'll use your social information to build your trust and lure you into once-in-a-lifetime investments with promises of high guaranteed returns. But it can be avoided. The Securities Division of New Mexico's Regulation and Licensing Department can help. Learn to spot the red flags of investment scams at rld.nm.gov/red flags or call 505-476-4580.
You don't have to live with a non-healing wound. The Wound Care and Hyperbaric Medicine Center at Artesia General Hospital provides compassionate care to people experiencing chronic or complicated wounds. Led by certified family nurse practitioner Rochelle McIntyre, our wound care team will work with you to build your customized treatment plan. Podiatrist Jennifer Chow and Joseph Krupa also specialize in lower limb wound care, and we are proud to have state-of-the-art hyperbaric oxygen chambers, a proven treatment that promotes successful healing. Visit artesiageneral.com/wound to learn more.
Check out some of the Mother's Day savings you'll find this week at your local Farmers Country Market. Select half gallons of Food Club milk are $1.49 each, and select boxes of Craven Flavor fruit pies are $4.88 each. In produce, California cherries are $4.98 a pound, and 2-pound containers of strawberries are $2.98 each. In the meat department, pork baby back ribs are $2.97 a pound, and chicken breast tenders are $2.47 a pound. These are just some of the Mother's Day bargains you'll find this week at your local Farmers Country Market.
Hi, this is Melanie from Glenn's Furniture, and I want to tell you about our store-wide sale happening now. All items in every department are on sale. Upgrade your living space with power reclining sofas and love seats or beautiful sectionals with charging ports. Create ambience with amazing table and floor lamps. Get that long-awaited restful night's sleep with the new Serta mattress. Every department is on sale from our existing prices. So come down to Glenn's Furniture on the corner of Union and Alameda, where delivery is free since 1953.
My name is Pat Boone, and I'm running for the New Mexico State Senate, District 27. My deep-rooted connection to the land and understanding of the challenges facing rural communities make me uniquely qualified to represent the interest of District 27 in the State Senate. I love this district and its people, and I look forward to representing you in Santa Fe. I'd appreciate your Republican primary vote on June 4th.
Paid for by Committee to Elect Pat Boone, New Mexico Senate, District 27, Mark McKay, Treasurer.
Look forward 1 year, 4 years, 40 years. What does the future look like? How will you ignite it? At the University of New Mexico, we fuel the future. This is where ideas come to life and identities flourish, where we define opportunity as individuals and as a pack. Being a Lobo is about so much more than the classes you take. It's about the mark you make on your world, The journey starts here. Ignite your future at apply.unm.edu.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. U-Haul is the world's largest advertiser in the Yellow Pages. Too bad millennials don't know what the Yellow Pages are. Here's Mike Winters.
Joining us in, and good morning. It is 23 minutes after 9 o'clock, and joining us in studio this morning, they're connected. I couldn't find them. They were gone. I was like, their split's gone, and then I found them. But yeah, joining us in studio here from the Historical Society for Southeast New Mexico, Amy Mivete is back with us. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you today?
I'm great.
Good. And a special treat, joining us on the phone this morning, author of his latest book called One Last Doubleheader. We have also joining us on the phone, Dewey Johnson this morning. Good morning, sir. Can you hear us okay?
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for spending a few minutes with us. We do appreciate it here. And and of course, you've written some books and things. You know, this is not your first rodeo here, but your latest book here kind of gets back into the vein of Joe Bauman and the Roswell Rockets and kind of some of the real Roswell professional baseball history that I don't think a lot of people realize we have under our belts here.
Maybe not.
Yeah.
Roswell really is fortunate to be able to talk about Joe Bowman and the Roswell Rockets and the glory that actually came to Roswell during his time there. It's a truly wonderful story about an unlikely hero. He was as humble as they come, and a couple of times before this, he was sort of thought that he was washed up in baseball. But to set the story, the 2 previous years he played for the Artesia Drillers.
Okay.
And he hit 50 home runs in 1951, or 52, and 53 in 1953.
Wow.
And then Dallas put in its own team, bought Artesia, put in its own team. He was unemployed. He came to Roswell. He was more interested in running a Texaco station than anything else in the world. And he had his opportunity to get his second station. He had one in Elk City. He bought it on the road to Ruidosa. The Rockets talked him into playing, and he did. And the amazing thing is that in the first 11 games of the 1954 season, he hit 10 home runs.
Wow.
That caused everybody to start thinking that maybe he could beat the record.
Yeah, he's averaging a home run a game here. It's like, hey, we're going out to see him a game. Odds are pretty good he's going to crank one out today.
That's right.
Yeah.
And the record that they were talking about had been set by 2 minor leaguers. It was 69. They weren't talking about Babe Ruth's 60, but 2 other guys had hit 69. And so it was an adventure. You know, he only had 138 games compared to today. You have 162 in the majors.
Sure.
And 4 of those got rained out and weren't replayed. So 134 games. Plus, go ahead.
Plus, this is an era where this isn't their day job. Like you said, they go to play baseball, but they gotta earn their living, and
right.
It's a little bit different than nowadays baseball players and stuff. That all they do is live, breathe, eat, sleep baseball. Where these guys back then, oh yeah, by the way, we're cranking out home runs, and then I got to go work at the gas station afterwards. That's a different.
Right.
That's a different version.
He owned it. He had to lock it up.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that kind of adds to that achievement just a little bit more,
Well, what really adds to the achievement is that he was such a good hitter. I mean, that year he also had a 400 batting average.
Wow.
He always was in the 300s. And so the coaches of other teams didn't didn't want their pitchers to pitch to him.
Yeah.
And so in 54, he was walked 150 times.
Wow.
And he could have been a lot more than that, except he would reach out to hit the ball.
Was it common? Like, you kind of look at, over baseball history, and you look at players, and you look at your power hitters, you guys that crank out 50, 60 home runs a season. They're generally also, if you look at their stats, they strike out almost as much as they hit home runs because they're power hitters. So for a guy that can hit 50 home runs and have a 400 batting average, that's a unicorn right there. Yeah.
He was exceptional.
Yeah.
He was exceptional.
So I would imagine, there's no managers, no pitchers that want to pitch to that guy because he's either putting it in the yard or putting himself on base somewhere. So odds are pretty good. We need to walk this dude.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah.
Or if you threw to him, you'd try to avoid the strike zone, make him swing.
I'm sure he got nothing but trash when he actually did get pitches too. So
that's right.
So which again adds more to that feat because they're deliberately giving him stuff that won't crank out the yard. They're giving him junk that kind of sputs off this way or whatever if he gets a piece of it, and he's still putting it in the yard. You know what I mean? That's how big a deal this is we're talking about here.
And then as the season went on, the pressure got to him. Buck Lanier, who was a writer, sports writer for the Roswell Daily Record, wrote, "The eyes of the United States are on Roswell at present. If Joe does break it, pictures of him will be on the sports pages of every paper in the U.S." And so he had that pressure that he was going down to the wire. He didn't hit the 69th until the season was almost over.
Okay.
And would he make it? And interestingly enough, for the last few games that he played, not only was Life magazine covering it, but Sports Illustrated had just started up in August 1954. And so they were covering him. And he would go up to bat, and the camera shutters were clicking, and the flash bulbs were popping. It was just, it just really got to him.
And it's probably, you have to, for younger folks out there, you have to imagine it's a way different world than it is today. You didn't have news at your fingertips. You waited for the evening paper or the radio news or whatever. Certainly didn't have the internet or anything like that. So to have that kind of attention in the 40s and 50s is a huge thing compared to today.
It really was. Yeah. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Good point. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a different animal there. So literally what you're talking about is kind of, that was the news of the world, and it was right here in Roswell, New Mexico. The entire world was watching what, like you were saying earlier, and that when we talk about Life magazine and Sports Illustrated, that was the tent poles. Everybody knew these things. Sports Illustrated was fledgling at that point, but we all know the history there. So it's setting the table for that, which is really cool.
That's for sure.
Yeah, it's a big deal. So G was curious, outside your book here, which we'll talk a little bit more in a second, but is there places where people can go in this state or somewhere where you can still see like the history of the uniforms and you know what I mean? Because to me, I've never been to the Cooperstown, but so maybe there's something there. But is someone collecting this stuff? And is there a place where people can see like the relics of this era?
Well, I'll let Amy talk to that, but let me add this prior. Mm-hmm. The book has already been cataloged in what's called the Baseball Reliquary.
Okay.
In Whittier, California.
Excellent.
And most people have never heard of the Baseball Reliquary, but it is pretty prominent amongst some people.
Okay.
In that it's sort of a rival to Cooperstown. It wants to tell the rest of the story.
I gotcha.
And it really reveres Joe Bowman.
Okay.
It really does. but I don't know. I'd be interested in what other artifacts are at the Historical Museum, Amy.
Well, just first of all, before I go any further, Mike, it just makes my heart happy. I open this book, and I see this right when you opened. I just have to read this. I'm sincerely thankful to the Historical Society for Southeast New Mexico for their encouragement and assistance in bringing this book into existence. Dewey Johnson. I'm proud and honored to be a friend and working with Dewey. I know John LeMan, our archives facility, assisted our little bit in this endeavor. That makes my heart happy. Also, Dewey, before I go any further, there's no coincidence that we just had almost 1,000 fourth graders in our museum, and that they're even saying these names of the Little League World Series, or whether it's Tommy Jordan or Joe Ballman, that they even know who that is, and they realize they're a part of something so much greater. And they realize when they go, some kids call it the Joe Bowman, or I grew up saying the old Coca-Cola field.
Yeah. Depending on your audience,
and
you get 10 different names.
Whether it's Stilesfield and whether it's Alliance Hondo or whether it is Nunop, we help them realize that this is about something so much greater.
Absolutely.
Now, to get very specific on specific items and their locations, call the museum. We can give you more information regarding these items, because I know many are all over. Because, I mean, he even refers to things in California.
And that's why I was just curious if maybe like Cooperstown or something had a exhibit or display.
And then we have some, but not... just like with us redoing the museum, we are very limited on our cases and different things.
We have things in the archives.
And then there's also a whole different conversation about anything original that's right out front and center nowadays. In our little museums, we have to be careful.
Sure.
But, Dewey, I can't tell you how proud we are and excited we are to talk ball, because, Mike, I could sit here all day and twice on Sunday. There's nothing that makes my heart happier talking about our legacy of the sport.
Well, I'm delighted to be a part of it, really.
And but it takes gentlemen like yourself to remind us of the history and to share that history, and that's why I love what your books do. And in this particular one, the One Last Doubleheader. And by the way, this is a small book. This is not War and Peace, so if you're just looking for something that's a short read with a great story, but it's not 7,000 pages. This is a short read with a wealth of just great stories and really and you kind of mentioned something about the fourth grade tours, and what I love about that is these stories talk about some of the same ball fields that some of these kids play their little league on in the evenings and during the summer.
Your book was right out there, and kids were picking it up and they're touching it, and some didn't know that name.
Yeah.
But they knew we were part of something greater. And also, so amazing what Dewey does, Mike, is right off the back in the preface of the book, he's just making those connections about history in general. You're just laying that out about our foundation of the history. And there's power in him just making the connections as we do. People are coming from all over the world, and you can open this book and realize we're greater than just one fact about one thing.
Absolutely. Well,
there's tons of things.
Absolutely. Well, and kind of in the broad scope here, like you're talking about, we're talking baseball here this morning, and the impact globally Roswell, New Mexico has had on baseball.
The greats.
I give another example in the different sport, but same mindset is we just had the Kentucky Derby over the weekend.
Yes.
Obviously, we know Mind That Bird and all that, but even in yesterday's Kentucky Derby, there's New Mexico history all through that. There was one of the horses that they grew up learning their ropes at the Downs in Ruidoso, and some of these jockeys and owners, and they got their starting here in Ruidoso in New Mexico.
And you hear that, if you watch the footage, there's no coincidence that time and time again New Mexico's being represented.
And Roswell is very much in the baseball fabric that very same way, and that's what Dewey's sharing with you is some of these stories, and to me I'm just as fascinated in the history of the Roswell Rockets and that post-era just baseball league, and obviously now defunct because it was a time where the leagues were trying to figure out and form in post-war era. So, you kind of look at like football today with USFL and XFL, and they're trying to kind of establish their footholds. Well, baseball was doing that back then here in the 40s and 50s, trying to reestablish, post-war era, getting back to normal. And so to me, that side is almost as fascinating as Joe Bauman's story and some of these players we talk about is some of how these teams started, how long they went, what, how they, what ultimately ended them. To me, that's interesting stuff. And these books are littered with all of that history behind it. So really good stuff.
And great photos. Doing great photos. I was looking on page 80, and we just see the legacy of Jim Waldrop.
Absolutely.
And those connections.
So just for you, Dewey, gee was curious, what's the work like? Like when you, for this book here, like what, from concept to a book in someone's hands, what's that whole process like for you?
Well, back in 2005, I had lost my voice, and so came down with spasmodic dysphonia and didn't think I'd ever be able to be a speaker again.
Okay.
But I got through that and started thinking about, I went to a writer's festival, thought, well, maybe I would like to write a book, and so started with that, and I wrote Summer of Champions, which is really more about kids getting together than it was the World Series. But then I got in speaking about the World Series championship in '56. And so I started reading more and trying to pick up more information, and I picked up a lot of stuff about Joe Bowman. One of Joe Bowman's, there was a sports writer in Albuquerque named Toby Smith, and he wrote about as much as anybody else. And so I picked up a lot of things along the way that I eventually put into that book. For example, when Joe Bowman, when Pete Domenici pitched to Joe Bowman.
Yeah, I didn't get to mention that name yet. We talked about. I was like, yeah, there's a few names in this story too that you might not think of in baseball. You know them, but not from baseball perspectives. And that's one of them.
And then the other one of those names is Tommy Brookshaw.
Yeah,
and who may be the best pro football player to ever come out of New Mexico. That of course is hard to prove, but he was really something.
It is up for debate, but there'll be people that won't argue with you. That's for certain.
He played a month with the Roswell Rockets, and so there's just I've just picked up a whole bunch of stuff. Also, at the time, one of my best friends was Dick St. John, and his dad ran the concessions for the Rockets games, and he would be out there handing out seat cushions to people who wanted them. And so, I got to hear about all of these things, and so it's always been an interest of mine, and finally just put it together in the book.
Awesome. Well, we're thankful that the bug bit you, and you got this desire to be a storyteller, because to be honest, we lose history when gentlemen like yourself don't preserve it like this. And so I feel like, yourself and people like you are the reason why these people don't, their stories and their what they did don't die in the history of everything. And I'd like to say, because of your books and your things, the kids that are into baseball now, their grandkids are going to be able to learn about Roswell baseball history and the fabric of Roswell in the big picture of the United States of America. And your books and stories like them are very much preserving that for not only our next generation, but the generations that go beyond that.
Well, and I think
thank you. I'm delighted to do it.
And we greatly appreciate it. Now, good news is this book is pretty easy to get.
Yes.
All you got to do is, we know some people over at the Historical Society, and you can swing on by or go online to our website, and you can get a copy of this. And his other books as well too.
For sure.
And while you're there looking at books, you can check out Donna Blake Burchell's books and John LeMay and Elvis Fleming and all the other great local authors that cover and it's pretty broad. Like it's not like it's all history, but it's not all like history. I mean, we go baseball, we go ghost stories, we go outlaws, we go cowboys, we go everything. There's every author goes in a different direction with New Mexico history here, and so whether it's sports or ghosts or cowboys or something in between, we got some great history and stories to tell you. So
I just think there's power in us making all these connections, connecting these dots, and realizing the baseball that we have now is just part of that continuous legacy. That ballpark is so much greater than just a ballpark.
Yeah.
And us making that history, and I think going back to what fourth graders help realize with our little tours is, I may not be into baseball, but that's fun. That's part of who we are. This is part of our history. Oh, by the way, you know what? I might be into baseball, or I might be into history for this. And it's just making these connections.
And the kids come out this summer and go see an Invaders game or two.
Yes, exactly.
And they go and see that, and they say, well, guess what? Joe Bauman's in the history of this.
This
is the book you're reading.
That's right. It's not just a ballpark.
Yeah.
It's a Joe Bauman ballpark.
Yeah. And so so really the Invaders are adding that next layer of history to the baseball here. And so when you go out to see the Invaders this summer, think back at Dewey's books, and this is where it all started.
That's for sure.
And this is the people and the history that made what you're doing that night happen and enjoying a ball game out at Joe Bauman Stadium.
That's right. That's right.
Good deal. So I got to ask Dewey, what's next? Are you taking a break with the pen, or are you already percolating for something else here?
Well, I hate to say this and not come through on it, but I think more attention needs to be paid to the 1956 team. And so I have started on that. That gives me 2 years to do the research and talk to some of the friends. The people on that team were basically 2 years older than I am.
And that's what I was saying is we're starting to get to a point where we're not going to have these people with us much longer. So we want to capture their stories, their experiences. We want to get as much of that while we still have them.
That's right.
To hear, the people that were in the room when this stuff went down. That's what we want to hear. And so Dewey, you're right. We want to capture as many of those experiences and stories from the people of the era while we're still blessed to have them with us.
And we're still blessed to have a couple right here in Roswell.
Absolutely.
And a couple have moved away, but they're still tugging at our hearts, since we're
life is taking them in different directions,
with
but they're still much part of the fabric. Absolutely.
Well, and it was just fun when we honored them at the Heritage.
It's hard
Center.
to believe that was a few years ago now. It feels like it was just a couple years ago, but it was pre-COVID we did all that.
Yeah.
It's been a long time, and so we've probably lost a few since then, obviously, because that was 8 years ago. But you're absolutely right, Dewey. This is so that's kind of where you kind of back into that area and kind of get more on the 56 World Series team here.
Yeah, and establishing the link that several people don't. You can't prove this, but it certainly helped the team to have been in the stands watching Joe Bowman 2 years earlier.
Oh, yeah.
Some people would say that they don't think Roswell could have done it apart from the excitement stirred up by Joe Bowman.
Sure. We needed him as the catalyst to light the fire here.
And so you had kids here who grew up with thinking that anything was possible. And so this was the first year of that league. 1956, prior to the season opening, Tom Hoover from the Optimist Club, Noontime Optimist Club had started a league, and they had so many kids they couldn't stir them with a bat, and so they moved over to they went to the Lions Club and said, "Could you all start one?" And they said, "Well, no, not really. All our funds are committed." And they said, "Oh, just provide something for the kids." Well, and they did, and we affectionately refer to it as the worst baseball field in North America.
Yeah, they didn't exactly have the amenities.
The good, the bad.
Even for the day, they didn't have the best amenities. They were scraping together.
It's a good testament we were using what we could or what we had.
But to me, that's what makes it better.
That's true.
Like the memories that those people have from that era. We had to get 12 people to scrape one glove between the two of us. Between the group. That was. But that also makes it sweeter. That's what because it's all about passion. If they didn't have the passion, they could have given up at any time. It's like, well, we don't have the equipment, we don't have the men. Any excuse could have easily derailed this.
That's right.
But because of that passion, and despite obstacles handed to them, they said, we're doing this. Whether we got good dirt or we ain't got, we got to go out and whittle some bats together. We're going to figure this one out. And I love that.
Yeah. The other night, I guess it's 2 weeks ago, I gave a speech to a local Lions Club, and I said, I want to tell you and thank you for what the Lions Club has made possible. This was an entirely different part of the world, and they were just in awe afterwards, saying, my gosh,
right.
I don't know that we would have necessarily done that today. We would have had to have this, that, and the other.
Yes.
Absolutely.
It's true.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it?
That's what I think, that's it. And that's just that era of history too. We always talk about the greatest generation and you hear things like that because it really was an era of time. If you wanted to happen, you had to roll up your sleeves and make it happen. And to be honest, that's just as true today as it was back then, but it was much more prevalent back then. It was, and so, because we had the World War II era where things were converted to make the world happen. And so that was the mindset of the people, and that carried post-war. You want baseball? We'll make it happen. We'll figure it out. And that's exactly what these people did. And so we love that. And we need to celebrate that. We need to remind the next generations because there's going to be times.
One of the things I mention in my book is that all the players on the Rockets who are about 30 years and older were the greatest generation, and many of them had served in World War II.
Absolutely.
And then those that were younger than that, some of them had come straight back from Korea.
Yeah.
Others of them had just graduated from high school.
Yep.
So it was those two generations, and that was a great time.
Absolutely. So learn about it. Come read the stories. Come. Again, the latest book is called Our Last Doubleheader. It is available right now through the Historical Society. You can go to roswellnmhistory.org. You can go.
We would prefer you call because we have limited quantity, and something tells me we're going to sell these out quick. So I would ask anybody listening to call 622-8333. If I'm unavailable, leave a message. We've got a couple of things going on. I will get back to you right away, and let's get these. And then a step further, it's an honor to unify with you, Dewey, to make these connections in any way. We, on behalf of Roswell, the Historical Society in New Mexico, can partner with you. We are honored to do so.
Absolutely.
Oh, I appreciate the help. Thank you.
Excellent. Well, thank you, Dewey. Thank you so much for spending some time with us here today. And
we really appreciate it.
And we can't wait to dive in and check out the latest book here and keep the stories coming, Dewey. We anxiously, as long as you've got the strength and energy to do it, we're gonna eat it up and wait for as they come in.
Dewey, Mike's not
only. Thank you so much. Thank you for this time together.
Of course, Dewey. Mike's not only part of this radio station; he's on our board. So when we say we're a part of this, we are part of this.
Absolutely. Yeah. I've worn stockings for history. I've worn pantyhose for history.
That's right.
I've done Santa
We'll do many things in the name of history, and we're here for you in any way we can work with you. We are more than happy to do so. And
I want to really give my appreciation to John LeMay because he helped put it together.
Yeah, John, because obviously this is what he does.
And John's working, or else he would be right here.
Yeah. But
he had another commitment. He thanks you, Dewey. He thanks you.
Well, we all inspire each other sometimes, and we all need each other. And there's days where I'm sure Dewey was having a rough one, and then John, and vice versa. Where others, John, or people having a rough day, and guys like Dewey come in and save the day. That's just how humans and humanity works.
That's right.
So, Dewey, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
I'd love
thank you, Mike.
And if you ever get down this neck of the woods, I can't wait to meet you in person. Be a good thing.
There you go.
Excellent.
Well, we have a high school reunion coming up in October. So
all right. Well,
I'll probably be there.
Yeah, good Lord willing, they let me hang on this earth till then. I will be there.
Well, and the Historical Society can be part of that too. That's right.
Excellent. Well, thank you, Dewey.
Thank you.
Have an amazing day. And
have a great day.
We'll talk to you again soon, okay?
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye. All right. That was Dewey Johnson. And again, get his book right now. Call Amy at the Historical Society here. Come by. The book's called One Last Doubleheader. And this one is, and like I said, it's a shorter book, so you can get through this one pretty quick. But that will whet your beak for some of his other books. Or if you want to start chronologically, go for it. We can help you do that,
we
too.
Sure can.
Wherever you want to pick up. But if you're a baseball fan, Dewey Johnson's books are going to be right in your wheelhouse. Because he tells some great stories. And let's face it, these are stories that you don't always find in all the baseball circles. You know what I mean? Because of the history, and this local. Mm-hmm. And but it's equally part of the fabric of why things are done in Major League Baseball today, why you do some of that tradition started right on the dirts of Roswell, New Mexico.
I love making those connections, whether it is Pete Domenici or whether it is Mr. Waldrop.
Absolutely.
We know them for one thing, but they are right here, or whether it is Jimmy Valdez or Tommy Jordan or Tommy Jordan Sr. It's just a fun all connecting.
And that's the beauty of history, is because we may know them for one slice of their life. It's kind of like Benjamin Franklin. We all Franklin know what he does, but to me, you're like, what about that? The man lived on Earth and did a lot of things,
because we had a Hobson working for fourth grade school tours, and Mr. Hobson, of course, was part. I mean, it's just all those names. It sparks this great interest of super connecting these all into a family, and there's just it's, to me, greater than just talking about ball. I get so sick and tired of talking about our angst and division.
Mm-hmm.
These things have power in just unifying us. It's just all part of our family.
And that shows the real human side of history. It's like we talk of Benjamin Franklin, we speak of people like him in this certain status.
Yes.
But to me, it's like, oh yeah, this is the place where Benjamin Franklin ate breakfast every day. I love that. To me, that's because it puts the human element on.
Yes,
it
just
shows
like that ball field out there. So many things. It's true.
Yeah, and this book is very much a part of it.
We are proud to be part of something so much greater. Support the Historical Society. We need memberships. We are working on scholarships right now. We're working in New Mexico Youth Challenge Academy. If I have one listener right now that is willing to give an additional scholarship to New Mexico Youth Challenge Academy, and you think, oh, Amy's asking for more money, we have over 50 applicants, Mike. And so anybody
in
listening,
all fairness, the money goes right from us to somebody else. We're just a big conduit for it.
I know we're talking about ball, but it's all part of history. We may have one of those next kids out there making history for us,
now's the time to get your tickets for our Heritage Dinner that's coming up here in a few short months.
For Heritage Dinner, scholarships, memberships, tours. Just got through with kids. We're going to have more kids coming. We've got some great things happening in the summer.
It's a busy time of year right now.
Email me at historydirector@outlook.com. Mark's right. Go to roswellandhistory.org. We've got our May Texas Roadhouse Day coming up in May. So mark your calendars. It's the third week in May. Support. We just have a lot of things going on. Texas Roadhouse Night. Mark your calendars, May the 21st. Collect your loose change.
Absolutely.
We just got a big old.
And don't forget, now that we're getting warmer weather, if you got your quinceañeras and birthday parties, our archive facility is available for rental.
Meetings, events.
It can host about 75 people.
50, 75, just depending on
It does
what
have
you're
a full
doing.
kitchen and everything, so if you want to do a little food and all that. But and by the way,
We've got it cleaned up from school tours.
I'm a little bit biased, but the grounds of the historical society are beautiful for pictures and creating memories and all that stuff.
We've been seeing lately.
Very, very good, very, very beautiful spot to be doing that kind of stuff.
For sure.
So. But again, RoswellNMHistory.org. Give out the phone number.
622-8333, or you can text or call me directly at 575-915-4471. Text me about a book.
History director at Outlook.com is Amy's email. So if you've got questions about scholarships or donations or Heritage Dinner or the books or anything, and you don't know quite where to, just shoot her an email. She'll be happy to.
Or just send me a text, 575-915-4471. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
And thank you.
Have a great week.
You do the same. We'll
all in the name of all.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Trust me, y'all going to love it. It's a lot of fun. It's just, it's so cool stuff.
Yeah.
So, good deal. All right, 9:58, quick break before they kick me off the radio. Don't go away.
New Mexico into a sanctuary state for drugs, crime, and criminals. He has fought to end catch and release for violent criminals and will continue to do so. New Mexico is at the center of a border crisis because our laws make us a haven for illegal immigrants, drug trafficking, and cartel activity. MLG's liberal agenda has unleashed terrible harm on our state. That's why a vote for Greg Nybert is a vote to take back our border security. Greg will keep fighting against the march of the radical left that threatens to harm our way of life. Vote for Greg Nybert, a proven conservative voice for State Senate.
Paid for by Greg Nybert for State Senate.
Every piece of land has a story, written by those who work it. But everyone's story is different. So the question is, how will you tell yours? Behind the wheel of a John Deere compact tractor, mower, or Gator utility vehicle. Run with us and start telling your story today.
Stop by Pecos Valley Equipment in Artesia and Roswell, or visit us online at pecosvalleyequipment.com.
Your home for Sean Hannity in Roswell. 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM, KEND, Roswell, New Mexico.
UN agencies and aid groups have ramped up humanitarian assistance in recent weeks as Israel has lifted some restrictions and opened an additional crossing in the north. Retired Navy Admiral James Stavridis says Israel will be seriously hampered in its effort to protect civilians in Gaza by the U.S. decision to delay shipment of high-precision missiles.
A Joint Direct Action Munition, JDAM is the acronym. It's a very accurate form of airdropped weapon that can be used with extreme precision.
Stavridis tells the Salem Radio Network the delay will force Israel to use less precise weapons in Gaza, which is likely to lead to even more collateral damage. President Biden is under fire from all sides for his handling of the crisis in Israel, but GOP Senator Tom Cotton of Arkansas says that should come as no surprise.
Joe Biden is almost always wrong. He has terrible instincts. His staff's instincts are worse. Their political incentives are even worse. Yet most bizarrely at all, he seems supremely confident in his own abilities.
Cotton told the Salem Radio Network Mr. Biden has been on the wrong side of almost all foreign policy conflicts, dating back to the Cold War. A Georgia appeals court has agreed to review a lower court ruling allowing Fani Willis to continue to prosecute the election interference case she brought against Donald Trump. The former president and some other defendants in the case had tried to get the Fulton County District Attorney and her office removed from the case. On Wall Street, the Dow is up 81 points. The NASDAQ is down 2. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Everybody wants cheap airfare, but where do you find it? You call low-cost airlines. Their prices are direct from the airlines, and they're so low you can't find these fares published anywhere. They specialize in cheap flights, discount hotel rooms, cheap car rental rates, and great package deals anywhere around the world. Wherever you want to go, they can help you get there cheaply and with a best price guarantee. If you want the lowest prices on your airline tickets or other travel services, call now. That's right, call. That's the only way to get these rates. Experts are standing by 24/7 to get you the cheapest airfare and hotel rates available. So don't wait. Call right now for the lowest travel prices anywhere and for great last-minute travel deals, too.
Call 866-755-5300. That's 866-755-5300. Again, that's 866-755-5300. Call us right now.
For millions of businesses.
Any businesses that accepted Visa and or MasterCard credit or debit cards in the U.S. between January 1st, 2004 and January 25th, 2019 may be eligible to receive part of a $5.5 billion settlement. Applicable owners whose businesses have closed can also submit a claim. The settlement stems from a 2005 lawsuit that alleged merchants paid excessive fees to accept Visa and MasterCard credit cards, and that Visa and MasterCard and their member banks violated antitrust laws. John Scott reporting.
FTX says nearly all of its customers will receive the money back that they are owed 2 years after the cryptocurrency exchange imploded, and some will get more than that. FTX says it owes about $11.2 billion to its creditors. News and analysis at townhall.com. The Israeli-U.S. relationship falters after a recent denial of aid. The latest from the media line's Felice Friedson.
Israeli disappointment at growing indications that its legendary relationship with the United States is weakening intensified on Monday when the Wall Street Journal reported the cancellation by Washington of thousands of previously approved orders for armament. It was first revealed that the order for 6,500 kits that turn bombs into smart bombs was frozen. But on Tuesday, it became known that billions of dollars worth of tank ammunition, military vehicles, artillery ammunition is also being withheld. Meanwhile, Israel's army has taken over the Palestinian side of the Rafah crossing, the transit point to Egypt, despite warnings from President Biden and other U.S. officials. I'm Felice Friedson, Town Hall News, Jerusalem.
News and analysis at themedialine.org and townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The travel wishing, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 9 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 3.
Chris and Viernos.
Of Mornings with Mike Winters, right here on 106.5 Roswell Talk FM. Happy Wednesday, everybody.
Yes, sir.
You made it.
Welcome to your halfway day.
Yeah. So, there is a new series on Netflix that I started watching.
Okay.
Yesterday. It's called A Man in Full.
A Man in Full.
And it's a 6-part series. I don't know if it's more than that, but there's 6 episodes on it.
Gotcha.
On Netflix. It stars Jeff Daniels.
Okay.
And that's what intrigued me. I'm a Jeff Daniels fan.
He's got a lot of range.
Yeah.
I mean, the man could play,
I love his comedies. I love his serious movies.
He could play, was it Lloyd?
He was Lloyd
Christmas, yes. And Dumb and Dumber.
And
of course, he played General Lee. Wasn't it?
No, it was Colonel Joshua Lawrence Chamberlain.
That guy.
In Gettysburg.
Yeah, Gettysburg. Yep.
Yes. And then, of course, he played an action star in, the Keanu Reeves movie with the bus. What's it called?
Speed,
thank you.
Yep. He was a professor. I can't remember what that show was. There's a clip that constantly shows up online about, Girl asked the question, "What makes America the?"
Oh, that was the Aaron Sorkin, the network.
Yeah.
He played a news anchor.
Yep.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was an Aaron Sorkin joint.
Yep.
Yep.
And that's a great little clip if you've never seen it.
Oh, it's if you ever watch the series, it's the opening clip to the series.
The opening salvo.
It starts out with him at the college campus giving the lecture, and then the student asks if he thinks America is the greatest country in the world, and he says no.
Yeah.
And he explains why. And but Jeff Daniels, and in this, I've watched the first 2 episodes.
Okay.
It's kind of a Succession, like it's a business drama.
Okay.
Jeff Daniels plays the head of what's called Croker Industries. He plays a man named something Croker.
Okay.
I don't remember his first name.
Kiff.
And so it's a huge conglomerate industry, and so he's basically, the banks are trying to take him down, and he's trying to fight it. But he plays like a Southern, so he's got the whole, but he's kind of that over the top man guy. Like, I guess in college he was like a big football player and all this. And like there's a scene where there's a rattlesnake in his barn and he wrestles the rattlesnake.
What?
Yeah. It's
why?
I'm intrigued. The series it's like, it's kind of a poor man's Succession. That's what it's kind of reminding me of.
Okay.
It's uniquely, I'm kind of.
So it's full drama.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's in the Breaking Bad vein where he's got witty lines that sometimes make you giggle.
Sure.
So, you know what? Another Jeff Daniels thing, it's on Netflix, and I can't remember what it was called, but it was something like, it's a Western, and it's something like God's Heathen or God, something like that. And it was a Netflix like miniseries that came out, I don't know, pre-COVID, maybe 6-8 years ago. And it was pretty good. It's pretty dark for Jeff Daniels, if I remember right. He plays a bad guy as a cowboy. And it's something, I feel like it's something like devil something or something. Godless. That's what it was. Godless. Yeah, that was good. That was a good, and that's very dark and very not Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah. Lloyd, what happened?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great to see him all these different roles, but
Yeah. This one's interesting.
So
It's
A
worth
Man
to
in
check out.
Full. Okay.
Yeah, it's on Netflix. It just came out. It's called A Man in Full, and like I said, I've watched the first 2 episodes. There's 6 total. I don't know if that's the whole series or season 1, or they're going to release more episodes. I don't know, but
I'm trying to see if there's any more info.
But I literally just stumbled upon it yesterday. I had not heard anything about it, and see nothing. It just showed up on Netflix saying, "Hey, check this out. It's new." And I'm like, "Oh, it's Jeff Daniels. All right, I'll check it out."
It just says the 6-episode limited series is adapted from Tom Wolfe's 1998 novel of the same name. So some of the problems come inherent in the source material.
Okay.
So I'm guessing they only have a finite limit of
So
amount
it's a 6 series
of story
run.
to tell.
Okay, so it's one and done.
There you
sounds
go.
like,
but at least you'll get some closure.
Yeah, I hope. But I'm telling you, I'm enough to where I want to see I want to see the next episode. I'm like, all right, I'm reeled in.
You're in.
Where's Jeff Daniels going to take this one? I'm in. And but yeah, it's a money, power, political, corporate drama kind of show. If you liked those type of shows, there's one more for you on Netflix. And
Sure.
it's got Jeff Daniels.
Yeah, I'd be intrigued to check it out. I was mentioning to Mike off the air that I recently started Shameless, and that was a show that Mike had gone through with you and Kim actually watched.
Yeah, we watched
that
it
show,
years ago.
Which I'm not sure if I know Kim the way I think I thought I knew Kim, because when I'm like, well, that seems like a good Kim show. This is not a good Kim show. This is not a good, like, if you're like with like your friend or like a brother sister thing, it's
Yeah.
gonna be very awkward in the room. Like I watch series at lunchtime with my best friend Misty, and usually we watch things that are kind of innocuous. Parks and Rec. We watched Schitt's Creek, things like that, and we started watching this show. And I looked at Misty. I was like, Misty, I don't think this is a you and me show. This is pretty graphic, but
but it does get funny.
There's
some funny lines.
I'm all in, but
it's a little bit of that Curb Your Enthusiasm style humor where it's the train wreck and you're just like, one thing begats the one thing and all that.
It's kind of like what you were saying. It's like a poor man's Curb. Yeah. It's like Curb, but for like, welfare crowd.
But the more you watch it, the more you appreciate the writing and the stuff. It does get good.
I agree. But the one thing this is something that it makes me feel uncomfortable just because it hits so close to home. And I don't mean like me now, but like my upbringing.
We do have to remember the show is called Shameless.
There's a lot that rings true in what I'm.
And the main character, or the most famous character, I should say. I don't think he's the main character, but the most famous character.
Well, that being said, Joan Cusack's character in this first season. You want to talk about a soup sandwich? Yikes!
Yeah. Well, good news is you won't see her long.
I've heard. I've heard.
But it's a comedy and it's funny and it's really good, but it's
great,
dark. Yeah. It's Southie and it's all Southie, Boston Southie. So it's everything that is shocking is in the show. Yeah, because that's what the environment in which they put it in.
It really is a testament to William H. Macy. That man is a tour de force actor.
You see a different side of William H. Macy.
Well, I've just seen him in so many things, but I've never, not one time, hated a TV character as much as I hate this man. And I watched 6 seasons of Walter White and Breaking Bad, and I've never hated the main character this much.
There is an argument that of all the degenerates in all of TV and cinema, the William H. Macy character is not only in the top 5, an argument for top 2.
Yeah. There's a lot of, and what's crazy is he keeps doing things that you're like, nuh-uh.
Yeah, that character he plays is diabolical in the dumbest, weirdest ways.
There's a moment where he's sitting next to a man. He's like in a bar, sitting next to a man who just like basically left his wife and family.
Yeah,
and where you see like he's seeing how hard it is for this guy. He's gonna go back to his family. And then he rushes over to the guy's wife and starts like, what in the world?
Opportunity.
Holy moly, dude.
He saw an opportunity. That's what he does.
It's so uncomfortable.
Yeah, it is.
But I'm in. I'm all in.
Well, and as the series progresses, he's going to do more and more ridiculousness. And almost sometimes you're like, you got to be mad, but give him props, man. That was genius.
That's true. It is true.
But anyway, I loved Shameless. I kind of miss.
It's one of those. It's funny. I've experienced this a couple of times with some of the shows that we've watched.
Yeah.
Where you get towards the end, you're like, I'm gonna miss it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna miss these characters. Yeah. And then you end up going back and rewatching the whole thing again. And but
Shameless, I did have a sense of that at the end.
Yeah.
A little bit. Maybe not where you're at now, but as you get invested and go, you do care about the people of the show at some point.
Oh, I care deeply about the family. Like the rest of the Gallaghers, I hurt for them.
Yeah. Well, and that's just it. As the series progresses, some you're going to like more, some you're going to hate more. Some you're going to, there's seasons where you're like, I hate this guy. Next season, I love this guy. And that's the show. That's just how they are. There's no, it's like everybody's all evil and everybody's all good. You know what I mean? It's just in the moment you catch them in. It's very.
I went down a bit of a rabbit hole last night because the guy on the show who plays the owner of the bar, he's the guy. His name's Steve Howie.
Yes,
he's the guy who played Van
in
on the show Reba.
Yeah.
Now that show ended without a real series finale. You didn't really get to know what was going to happen to Van and the girl.
He moved to Southie.
For those, no. Here's the thing. This is the rabbit hole I went down.
Yeah.
For anybody who wants to know the secret ending to the show Reba, go look up the song by Reba McEntire called "Every Other Weekend."
Okay.
It's a song about basically dropping off the kids every other weekend to their dad, and it's the song about divorce. But the two main characters, the mom and the dad, are Van and whatever her name is, and the daughter.
Yeah.
And so it's basically the spiritual ending to the show is they ended up getting divorced.
Well, it's the only other thing I can remember her from, the daughter, off the top, was she was in that TV series on ABC that was out about the astronaut wives. You remember that? It was
Vaguely.
like a one season,
Mhm.
maybe 8 years ago. And it was a drama, hour-long show. And I can't remember the name of it, but it was
I just
about
been
the
called
astronaut wives.
I do remember the show you're talking about.
Yeah, I just don't remember if it was called Astronaut Wives or something like that. But she was one of the wives and one of the main characters. That's the only other time
The
I was
Astronaut Wives Club.
there you go.
Yep.
That was the show she was in.
Mhm. I do. Yeah, I do remember that
That's
show.
the only other thing I remember her from. The
But
girl from Reba.
but yeah, no, it's I saw that video. I was like, oh, they didn't work out.
No, sorry.
What a bummer.
Yeah.
But now we know.
And then I get Reba shows confused because she had a couple that were all the same show, but they're different shows.
Mhm.
Like there was that one. But then she had another show where she's kind of the same character, but she's single living in a penthouse or something I think she's a country star.
Okay.
But it literally is
Also called Reba.
and it's very similar Reba, just different characters. I mean, it's real. I can't remember the name of the show, but there was another Reba show. It was like a Reba show, but she's not a family mom, grandma. It was divorced all this. It was something different. Anyway, let me give you the rundown for
Yes,
this hour of the show.
let's write it down. I'll look this up.
You'll look it up here. We'll get you up to date with the weather here in just a bit. Later on, we're going to get to play our interview we had with Mark Green from Harvest Ministries and Amelia Benavidez with the United States Postal Service. This Saturday is the USPS's annual Stamp Out Hunger Day, where they ask folks to leave non-perishable food items out in their mailbox here on Saturday, or actually, you can. They have a box set up at the main post office here on Pennsylvania. You can drop stuff off there if you've got a P.O. box or you don't want to leave food out by your mailbox. You can drop it off at the box, which is set up now at the post office there on Pennsylvania. You can drop a big bin. If you can't find it, ask the employees. They'll show you where it's at. But we'll play that interview for you here in just a bit. We'll also get you up to date on news of the local variety, Wall Street business update, and whatever else we can come up with.
The only thing I can reckon that you might be talking about is this. There was they filmed a pilot, which apparently aired this year. It's currently untitled. On the new show, Reba and her half-sister, who she didn't know about, inherit their father's restaurant. Reba's not happy to share the business with her new sibling.
No, that's not it.
Because that's
this was older.
It says, since Reba ended in 2007, after 6 seasons, the country superstar has been cast in several other TV shows, including Young Sheldon, Big Sky, Deadly Trails, and Reba McEntire's The Hammer and Malibu Country. So.
Yeah, Malibu Country, that was more recent. But no, there was another show, the sitcom. And I remember watching it. And it wasn't Reba, but it was in the same vein.
You sure it was Reba?
Yes. Yeah, because I was confused thinking it was the other show. And I'm like, why is she living by herself? And it wasn't. I think it only lasted maybe 1 or 2 seasons.
Okay.
I'm going to look when we're doing an interview because I'm not.
You let me know on that because I'm
not
genuinely
Mandela
curious.
affecting this. I remember seeing another show.
Well, and I'm wondering if maybe it's another country star. Or
No,
singer.
it was Reba.
Okay.
No, you can't miss Reba. The twang,
No,
the
you
whole,
can't.
it's Reba. It was the mindset.
Are you thinking of a Fritos commercial? 'Cause I do remember that.
I'm going to dig. I will find it. It is there.
She did a commercial for Scoops Corn Chips.
All right, 9:21. Let's get you up to date on the weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. The wind will be a little gusty today. We have a dry cold front dropping through. Pretty warm, though. Upper 80s to about 90 on the high. Wind gusting to 40 miles an hour. Overnight looks clear, low 50s, and then we're in the upper 70s on Thursday. Not too windy, and we should get a pretty sunny day. Mostly sunny and mid-70s coming up on Friday. Few showers over the weekend. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 75 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is down to 10%. Winds currently out of the north at 6 miles per hour. Red flag warning kicking in at 11 a.m. this morning, remaining in effect through 8 p.m. this evening, hence the 10% humidity and the winds. Get a little breezy today. Sunny and 89 with northwest winds 15 to 20 miles per hour this afternoon. Clear tonight, overnight low of 54 degrees, west winds 10 to 20. They'll drop down 10 to 15 after midnight. Thursday, sunny, a little cooler, 83 for a high tomorrow with northwest winds 10 to 15 miles per hour. Thursday night, partly cloudy and breezy with an overnight low of 55 degrees. East winds 20 to 25 miles per hour. They'll drop down 10 to 15 after midnight. Friday, we're in the 70s. Partly cloudy, 74 for a high. Northeast winds at around 5 to 15 miles per hour. And then Friday night, we're looking at a 20% chance of showers, a 50% chance of showers on Saturday, mostly cloudy, 76 for a high, 30% chance Saturday night, and a 20% on Sunday, partly cloudy and 82 for a high there. So that's our weather. Okay. Oh, let me turn your mic on.
There was a show in 2012 for one season called Malibu Country. The cheated-on wife of a country music star moves to California with her teenage children and her mother in hopes to restart her own singing career.
Hit the bell. That's the show. That's the show. I watched that season. I remember seeing it.
Not called Reba, Malibu Country.
There it is. But it's basically the Reba show, but her in the country stuff.
But with no Barbara Jean.
Yeah, they had a different Barbara Jean. It was someone who played, wasn't called Barbara Jean, but basically Barbara Jean. Same thing. All right, 9:23, problem solved. World is back to normal. Quick break, and then we'll play our interview with Harvest Ministries and the USPS. Don't go away.
This is State Representative Candy Spence Ezell. I'm a lifelong farmer and rancher. And for the past decade, I've been watching the radical policies of the so-called progressives in Santa Fe rapidly chip away at our traditional way of life. I've served in the state house for quite a while, and I'm known for saying no to Governor MLG every chance I get. I'm running now for the state senate, where I have a greater impact in fighting for our economic development, our rights, our freedoms, and our Western way of life. I'm a life member of the NRA. In my time in the legislature, I have received an A+ rating from the NRA every year I've been in office. I am unshakably pro-Second Amendment and always stand up to those trying to destroy our Constitution. I'm Candy Spence Ezell, asking for your vote in the upcoming Republican primary on June 4th.
Paid for by Candy Spence Ezell for State Senate, District 32.
Hi, this is Jim Gill from Roswell Seed Company, here to announce that our geraniums are ready. So now the great debate begins. Are they pink or are they raspberry sorbet? Are they orange or are they Caribbean coral? Well, whatever you call them, they're the prettiest geraniums anywhere. We raise them in our own greenhouse, then send them home with you to brighten up the world. So come get yours now while the selection is best. Don't worry about the silly names.
I heard that.
Yes, dear. Coming, dear. Right away, dear. Of course, you're right.
Hi, this is Melanie from Glenn's Furniture, and I want to tell you about our store-wide sale happening now. All items in every department are on sale. Upgrade your living space with power reclining sofas and love seats or beautiful sectionals with charging ports. Create ambience with amazing table and floor lamps. Get that long-awaited restful night's sleep with the new Serta mattress. Every department is on sale from our existing prices. So come down to Glenn's Furniture on the corner of Union and Alameda, where delivery is free since 1953.
Artesia General Hospital's Rehabilitation Center is here to help you recover and get back to the activities you love. Rehabilitation services include physical, occupational, and speech therapy, all led by experienced, licensed therapists. From symptom management to patient education, customized home exercise programs, and family support, Artesia General Hospital's integrated approach to rehabilitation is designed to facilitate your best possible recovery so you can get back to work, back to play, and back to life. Learn more at artesiageneral.com/rehab or by calling 575-736-8174.
It takes a long time to develop trust. At LaGrone Funeral Chapel, they've been earning your trust for decades. They understand how important it is to friends and family to celebrate a life in the way you choose. The professionals at LaGrone will ease your stress and anxieties. They'll provide the guidance you need to select a service that's appropriate. And that's what they've been doing for generations, earning your trust and doing the right thing. LaGrone Funeral Chapel and Crematory, 900 South Main in Roswell. Online at LaGroneFuneralChapels.com.
Who doesn't think the dentist is a big deal? I know what you're thinking. What will they find? How much will it hurt? What are my options? Hi, this is Dr. Sarah Usher, and I am here to tell you that here at Carabelli Dental, it is our job to put you at ease. With options like sedation dentistry, you can rest assured that regardless of what dental work you might need, you can get it done while resting comfortably. Call our office now and speak to our knowledgeable staff about setting up your new patient appointment.
Come see the team at Carabelli Dental or call 575-622-4455.
You may be wondering why an Eastern New Mexico rancher wants to be part of our state senate. The answer is simple. I want our conservative values heard in Santa Fe. My name is Pat Boone, and I'm running for New Mexico Senate District 27. This beautiful state is primarily rural land, and my family's been ranching here since 1884. I'll fight for your land rights, your parental rights, and your right to bear arms. I'd appreciate your Republican primary vote on June 4th.
Paid for by the committee to elect Pat Boone, Mark McKay, Treasurer.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. Turtles can breathe through their butts. We imagine you know some people who do that too, because that's where their heads reside. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 25 minutes after 7 o'clock, and joining us in studio this morning, Mark Green back with us from Harvest Ministries, and Amelia Benavidez with United States Postal Service back as well.
Good morning.
Good morning. How y'all doing?
Very good. Thank you.
Well, we know what that means if you two are together in the room with us, that we're coming up on another Letter Carriers food drive, which will be this Saturday.
This Saturday.
It's time once again this year, and it's very similar to years past, where we're asking folks to leave non-perishable food items out at your mailbox this Saturday.
Yes.
And your letter carrier will grab it and get it to Harvest Ministries, where it'll get to people in need all over Chaves County.
Yes.
So the tradition keeps going. But Mark, this is really a main staple for you guys. Particularly as we're getting into warmer months, summer months, as kids are getting out of school. A lot of people don't realize most of our donations for food, blood, a lot of other things come from schools.
Yeah, that's true. So all through the school year, all of the schools keep us supplied with groceries through their food drives. And so then the summer comes and everybody takes vacation, and pretty much the organizations do too. So this is the food drive pretty much that will carry us through the summer as far as our non-perishable stuff. So it's extremely important.
This is kind of our, exactly. Yeah. This is kind of our winter, or kind of a Black Friday moment where we got to get us through the next few months here. So if we want you to remind, tie a string around your finger, do whatever you got to do, but gather some non-perishable food items. And make sure you put them out at your mailbox, and we'll have Boy Scouts and letter carriers and all kinds of people helping out to get all that collected, and because it's all hands on deck. Letter carrier trucks test all the strength of the shocks.
Oh yeah, especially with all that Amazon and Temu in there too.
Yeah. It's like what weighs more, catalogs or canned goods? Let's find out.
Let's go. Want to fill up those trucks for sure.
Absolutely, but and I know this is something that the letter carriers really step up and love doing.
Oh yeah, we do. This is actually the Stamp Out Hunger has been going on since 1993, so this is like 31 years in the making. Yeah.
I know we've been talking about it since pretty much 2015 since we started doing this show. I think.
Yeah.
So,
This is my 15th year doing this.
Yeah. So
being the coordinator anyway.
Yes.
Yeah.
A lot of change in your life since then.
Oh,
but you've been doing it.
A lot.
Name changes, all kinds of stuff.
A lot of stuff. Grandkids.
Yeah. Life has happened.
Yeah. We have over like the last 31 years. We've had over 20. Right now we have 290,000 carriers across America that participate in over 220 union branches across America, from Alaska to Florida. In the last 31 years, they collected over 1.9 billion pounds of food for America.
That's amazing.
And that's donated to all local food banks. We're proud to, coordinate with Harvest Ministries again. We're also teaming up. We needed some help in Clovis this year, so we're teaming up with them, and we're getting their food bank or food drive going over there with their food bank. A lot of I think it's like 22 cities in New Mexico alone participating in this.
Excellent.
And it really helps out our state. Pastor Green was saying, this is a time to donate. Our food banks are extremely low during this time.
Yes.
And it's such a great opportunity. I think, how many pounds did we get last year, Pastor?
I don't remember. Was it 17,000?
Yeah, it was like almost 17,000 pounds of food. And that's a mass amount of food to get out.
And every drop is needed.
Yeah,
every pound of that food is needed.
Pound.
To give you an idea of how much that is, so you've seen the bins in the grocery stores that have the pumpkins, watermelons. So last year, I believe it was 28 bins. So,
full to the top.
we were full. Our basement was full, which we were very happy about.
Well, we should let's make more bins this year.
Oh yeah, let's do it.
We have as many bins as we can fill up. So.
Yeah, and then also again, like the PO box section, like in any individual that's going to be out of town this weekend on the 11th on Saturday.
Yeah,
you could go to the main post office here at 415 North Penn.
Yeah, just a couple blocks over from where we're at right now.
Go over there.
Downtown.
We have a bin set up. We're going to have a bin set up today, this afternoon.
So you can start dropping
off the donations there if you're going to be out of town. Unfortunately, I don't know if you've seen the forecast this weekend.
Yeah, I was just reading, and Saturday looks a little bit. Can't complain. We need moisture.
We can't. We don't. Yeah. We were not going to complain.
Just saying, can we have it Thursday or Friday or
so
Sunday?
So let's hopefully it happens after the food drive. But if not, go ahead and get a plastic bag, wrap up that food in it with the additional. We do have some bags going out. We have reminder cards going out in the mail today. We're going to send those every door direct throughout the city.
Yeah.
And then we also have some bags. We're not going to have enough bags totally for the whole city, but we'll have a lot of. If you don't need a bag to donate, you could use your own bag.
Yeah, if you're grocery shopping, grocery bags or whatever will be just fine.
Probably even a small trash bag.
Something that's water
yes,
proof or
that would
water
be nice,
resistant.
just in case that rain does happen and that load it, and
throw it in a
unload
kitchen bag or a long leaf bag and just zip it or tie it up, whatever, and that would be amazing.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. And like I said, just put that next to your mailbox during delivery hours. Usually our carriers, we start off in the office at 8 o'clock, but we usually don't go out to the street until about between 9 and about 10 o'clock.
So if you get it early, your mail early, they might be a little bit later
and
on Saturday.
And we've had a lot of route changes on the south side of Roswell, so your mail might not be at the same time it used to be because they changed all our territories.
Gotcha.
So
people that you may see in the morning, you may not see it till after lunch.
You might get it. So just be aware of that. So make sure that you have your food out there at least by 9:30, 10 o'clock.
Sure. And if you really are worried about weather and stuff, just bring it down to the main branch here on downtown.
For sure.
And you can drop it in the box there. Like you said, it'll be here this afternoon. And so if you're out doing your grocery shopping here today, pick up some extra items and drop it off at the post office.
And I want to thank all the letter carriers here in Roswell. I know and across New Mexico. It's a very hard job that we do. And then, of course, this is additional work on top of the work that we have.
Absolutely.
And then just with all the Amazon, Temu, and all the packages that we get now, our package have increased at least by 70-80% since I've started 18 years ago.
You're going to need like cartoon like Dr. Seuss trucks that like look normal here but then bubble out like muffins or something up here.
I actually have to drive a 2-ton driving around town that day just to unload because we just don't have the room in our trucks anymore. So I shout out, big shout out to all our letter carriers here in Roswell.
They do go above and beyond on this
day.
day.
And it's a great cause.
And here's the thing though, they do love doing this. They see the need, because postal carriers they're people of the neighborhood. They have relationships with the people that they deliver to every day. So it's part of that relationship. And when you talk and George or Sue or whoever your letter carrier is, they come by every day and here's our there's a relationship there.
I have a lot of friends
on
my route. Yeah. I've been on my route for like 8 or 9 years now, and you begin they become your friends after a while. They're very good people.
And conversely, you guys see everything, so you're this is a family that could probably benefit from some of this stuff and say, hey, go talk to the Harvest Ministry folks while you're collecting. Say, go talk to Harvest Ministries.
I've got a question for you. This is off the subject, but
no problem.
During the holidays, do people still leave gifts for their letter carriers sometimes?
Good.
Yes, they do.
Okay.
Yeah,
Good. I'm glad they do because that was a tradition that kind of died.
It's not as much as it used to. Like I started 18 years ago, and it was more so back then. Now, we still,
let's bring that tradition back.
There we
go. Bring it back.
So, Amelia, let's ask. What's an appropriate thing to leave for a letter carrier? What would be considered over the top? What would be something that's...
Not milk and cookies, right?
Yeah.
No. Usually a lot of people, it's a gift card.
Okay.
But we can't accept any gifts over $50.
Okay, so
that's
keep it
kind
under
of our
50.
cap.
So keep it under 50. So depending.
And then we get a lot of gift cards. That's a staple now. I get Starbucks cards. You name it. We get a lot of gift cards.
That probably fuels you throughout the day.
And then my husband and me are both carriers, so we We used to get a lot of cards back in the day.
So around January time, Amelia didn't pay cash for anything. Right. I got a gift card for that. Hold on. But and for folks that don't know, all the food, all that's collected goes to Harvest Ministries. And for folks not familiar, Harvest Ministries kind of is our hub for helping for food and things. You may have heard of the Roadrunner Food Bank on the news and things that serves New Mexico. Roadrunner Food Bank comes to you, and you kind of serve as the Roadrunner Food Bank for our
So it's
region.
a partnership, yes. So we're all under Feeding America nationally.
Yes.
And then Roadrunner Food Bank is over most of New Mexico. And then we're the agency in Chaves County that is the hub for food distribution here.
Yeah.
Food rescue and distribution.
So kind of so it's kind of the one-stop shop. Not only do you service the public directly, but you service other organizations.
Yeah, 14 other agencies
that
in Chaves
also
County.
service the community here. So by all the food going here, it is kind of the best triage place to get, hopefully 30 bins, 40 bins of food this time.
Let's try to break that 20,000 mark this year.
That would be nice.
Then also this year, I want to dedicate this year to our fellow carrier, Ernie Jimenez. He passed away last year, and he was a big supporter
One
of
of
the
his
food
passion
drive.
projects.
He was a food drive coordinator forever until he retired. Then I took over the position.
So he was.
So
we can thank him for this region being this active. Yeah.
I want to honor him this year and dedicate our food drive to Mr. Jimenez, and he was a great staple to us in the Postal Service here in Roswell.
I'm sure he's watching over and smiling.
Yes,
he's like,
he
it's
was
my
a good
favorite
guy.
weekend. Last Saturday's Kentucky Derby. Everybody loved that. This weekend's letter carrier. That's my weekend to shine.
Right, for sure.
But so please get now. As far as foods that are acceptable, obviously your typical non-perishable canned goods, things that obviously nothing refrigerated. What other things do we need to steer clear of?
Well, bread's
perishable stuff.
Perishable and bread.
Fruit.
People might not think bread's so perishable, but it will get mashed. And all of
there
that.
are uses for it.
Yeah, so probably not bread, but cans, boxes mainly, bags of rice, beans, things like that.
Beans and rice are always great staples because they go far and spread. You can feed a lot of people.
Also, we're not opposed to people cleaning out their pantry. So that you look and think, well, there's that can of hominy I bought last year and I've never used it. So throw it in there because we will go through all of the dates. And if you think, well, it's expired, throw it in there and we'll go through them and check the dates on everything.
Yeah, if it says like Best by 2014, maybe don't bring that one.
Maybe not.
And also,
but they don't even have to do that. We will go through every single item, and if you've got 20,000 hopefully pounds of food, that is a lot of eyes on those cans and boxes. But we have volunteers who will do that. And check every single box you can and make sure they're
Do you
good.
get some leeway with the expired date can?
Oh my goodness.
Because I know, they tell you Best Buy, but in theory, you can eat canned stuff. And so does it get used in some way, shape, or form, or do you have to get rid of it?
So if it's 10 or 15 years out of date,
then
we're obviously going to get rid of it.
Then that goes to a podcaster who wants to do a freak show open and see what happens.
Oh, man.
and when I lived in Africa, we had been collecting things to take over, and so we're over there several years. Well, by the time I came back, a lot of our stuff was 3, 4, 5 years out of date. And I don't recommend that people eat things that are 5 years out of date, but we're still here.
You're in a food emergency and you need to eat food as food.
People need to realize, you look on there's a Best Buy. That means the quality and the taste of the food will be best if you eat it before that date. And then there's a use or freeze by, like
then science takes over after
like
that date.
Right. So if it says use or freeze by as something perishable, you've got to use it or freeze it by the date. If it says expires on for baby food, things like that, you need to get rid of it.
That's a hard date.
Yeah, that's a hard date. But if it's just a Best Buy date, those dates sometimes are good for, like, we have a catalog that tells us how long we can give something or distribute something after the Best Buy or use by or expiration date.
Gotcha.
And so
you can use some of that.
Go ahead and throw them in. And,
okay,
and
good.
We know
because I was always worried you had to get rid of it, and I was
use.
like, that's just taking up space.
Yeah, no.
But that being said, please be a little cognizant. Like if you're like, when did I put that thing of black olives in there? Oh wait, they're not black olives; they're green olives. Let's throw that away.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, but also remember the kids too. So like the the microwavable soups and mac and cheeses and the ones you can literally quick fix and type things.
And not
for
just kids, seniors as well.
Yeah. Sure, seniors, people that don't have, those are very useful things. So the Chef Boyardee's, the Kraft mac and cheeses, even the cup of soups, your ramens and all those. Those are great items that are
cans with pop tops on them.
Yeah.
Sometimes for seniors, just using a can opener, or for kids. But if they can just pull a tab and open the tab on the can, that makes preparing their food a lot easier.
Absolutely. So please, think of all that stuff and think of stuff for the kids, stuff that for, like I said, people that don't maybe have a lot of cooking apparatus and things. Certainly all that. Keep your beans, your rice, your grains, all that stuff like that. We definitely want that too. But don't forget those the canned, easy. They got a lot of microwavable canned soups and things now. Just grab a few of those, like Campbell's. You can get almost the same flavors, in those microwavables now too. So just grab those. So, or the dinky beef stews and those kind of chili. Everybody loves chili. Your friends may not like you later, but everyone loves chili. And so donate that kind of stuff. Now that being said, again, it's this Saturday. This is the big day. This Saturday. So when get out. So if you do have a busy day, either get it out there first thing, or don't forget. You can take your food directly to the post office here downtown. There'll be a drop box there this afternoon. So if you have a P.O. box, or if you're not available,
roll route carry, roll route. Yeah, you're in town.
Or if
shopping.
you just, for whatever reason, you don't want to leave it at your mailbox, you can bring it on down here, and we'll make sure it gets.
Yeah, some people don't feel safe leaving their stuff there. They're gonna take it. I was like, no, just bring it to the post office.
People know their neighborhood. People do know their neighborhood best, and my neighbor, you'll be moving through it.
We used to have a carrier that used to always tease us like, "Oh, good, I'll bring my can opener that day. I don't have my lunch." I was like, "Really?
We're going shopping, huh?"
He was hilarious. But
real quick, that reminds you ever seen that show Impractical Jokers?
Yes.
They got about 5 million episodes, but there's one episode where they're at like a food pantry or a place where they're, but it's more like a larger scale where they're, they got conveyor belts bringing food and all the stuff coming in the hub center. And so they're doing their Impractical Joke thing there, and part of it's volunteering, but part of it is they had to act like jerks in there. And so literally they're doing that. They're opening up the food and eating out of it. And the other volunteers are you can tell somebody ready to drop this dude. They're like, they're ready to fight him. Because they're just being complete, like, what a bunch of jerks. It was really that thing. But it just reminded me when you said that. I was thinking of that show. But
we definitely have some jokers in our office.
Yeah. But speaking of the Harvest Ministries and that side of things, something that Mark mentioned to me when we walked in, he said, for the first time in a long time, we need volunteers.
That's right.
We are at you have and have had over the years some very long-serving, devout volunteers in this community that have been staples at Harvest Ministries. Well, we were just talking about me, how a lot's changed in your 15 years of doing this. Well, that same at Harvest Ministries. Yeah. Folks are older. They're getting to the point with their lives where they're ready to spend more time with the grandkids.
We still have volunteers who are in their 90s.
Yeah.
Okay,
wow.
These people are awesome, but we
need some younger backs.
We do, but we've had several. We've had some people have to drop out because of illness.
Yeah.
We've had some people have to drop out just because they're in their 80s, upper 80s, and it's like I just can't do this anymore. And been there for a long time. Like you said, some of our volunteers have been there since the beginning, 20 years more. And
it's time for the next generation to come in.
First time some days we're falling short on volunteers. So we do need volunteers Monday through Friday. Anytime between 8 and 12, you can come for an hour, 2, 3, come one day a week, come every day a week. We have volunteers who come every single day of the week.
Little bit.
And have for years and years.
Yeah. And I would even invite families too,
absolutely. Especially in the summer.
While the kids are out of school and stuff, bring them with you and let them serve with you. They can they can help stack shelves or organize or help put baskets together, whatever needs to be done at that particular day.
Yeah, every time you have a break in school, we have families, kids who come out. We have youth groups who come out. Sure. And during the summer, we'll also have families, parents come and bring the 3, 4, 5 kids and volunteer.
You can create some of the best family experiences by serving together as a family doing something like this. And obviously, as parents, you're trying to teach your kids the ways in the world and all this, and there's some valuable lessons there in humility and service and showing, consequences a little bit here too for your kids. Like, this is why we don't want you in this situation. This is why we want you to be here. And, it's all part of that growing experience for your family. So come in there. But then at the same time, it's teaching them to be humble, to be service-minded, and to look at people
just
the
to be
same.
considerate of others. And
those are valuable lessons to teach kids that will serve them well when they're adults.
And Harvest is a great place to do that. And I would also say, you know what, if you have any inkling that you might even consider being a volunteer, just come down and take the tour, or come down and volunteer one day.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times I find if somebody will come down and just do it for one day, they'll see the camaraderie that we have.
The bug, huh?
Yeah, we've got, we have usually we have a base of between 40 and 50 volunteers. They don't all come on one day, obviously. Every day we'll have around 20 volunteers. And but they come in, especially the ones that have been there for a while. They'll come in early, grab a cup of coffee, sit down, they'll chat and visit until
it's as much of a social aspect as a service.
Yeah, it's kind of like their morning cafe. Just come, sit down, drink coffee and fellowship, and then as soon as it's time, everybody hits the ground running and we get everything done.
I would argue that if you talk to all of your volunteers, they take out as much, if not more, from this as they in theory desire to give back.
Well, Jesus said it is more blessed to give than to receive, and I would always rather be on the giving end, but we're happy to be there for people who need to be on the receiving end.
We all at some point in our life need to be on the receiving end. And
That's
so,
right.
we all hit that place. But I don't care who you are, where you come from, there's a point in life where you're going to need some.
Well, it's the old saying. The old saying, if you see a turtle on a fence post, he didn't get there by himself. And so, we all are where we are because somebody helped us along the way.
Absolutely.
I was that kid in line growing up at the food bank.
Well,
it's like I was there with my parents. That
that's
helped us out.
Probably why you're to this day.
And that's why I
doing
dedicate
this.
my time, because I don't get paid for this. I'm doing it on. I have to take leave, annual leave to do this. I do it on my spare time. Yeah, so it's just something that I feel like they gave to me when I was young, so I feel like I give back to the community.
Well, don't forget you got a baton to pass too, because
at
some point you're going to get tired.
I have 5 years left. 5 years left of this, and I am really trying to find somebody to step up and
So all you letter carriers out there, me's going to be. How you doing?
I can see the light. It's a little light, but I can see it there. And retirement's coming up, so for sure.
Wow,
so
there's
about
some
5
good
years.
people there.
And we appreciate Amelia. We do. She puts in a lot of hours.
Absolutely.
Getting all this ready, but on the day of, she's mourning tonight.
She's stomping out fires.
We really appreciate it.
And it's my day off because we have like a long weekend every 6 weeks, so I very rarely get a long weekend. So this is my long weekend. Then I'm off. I'm like, it's a food drive. I was like, okay, I'll spend the whole day and my day off.
Sunday will be a true day of rest.
Oh my gosh, I am so sorry. And I have 2 fake knees now, so it's even harder now to do this, but it's still out there.
But you love doing it, and that's why you keep doing it.
I
You'll
do
do
love
it till you retire. And I'm going to take a stab, even after you retire.
I'm going to volunteer.
I was about to say, you're going to be floating around. You're going to be involved.
I for sure will still
You
help.
may not be officially running it, but you're going to be just.
I'm one of those people that cannot stay still. I have a DJ business on top of, I'm a professional DJ on top of being,
Man, amazed. Like, you only got one job. What's wrong with you?
I have a professional DJ business on top of being a letter carrier, on top of being a grandmother of 6. Mind you, I have 6 grandkids. But it's nonstop.
Awesome. She's creating a labor force, by the way. That's
why I am trying to get my granddaughter to help me DJ. Come on, let's go. She's like, I'm not ready for that.
I'm sure they're all going to have servers' hearts too.
Right.
But if you do want to do it, please reach out to Harvest Ministries. Come out today and say if you want to volunteer. And like we were saying earlier, I'd also like to throw the challenge out to civic organizations and things too. The letter carriers are going to help us get through the summer here, but it still gets lean. Even the spicy amount.
It's lean right now.
And then think about all these seniors, soon to be seniors. They want to volunteer. Looks great on a scholarship resume.
Yeah.
It looks great. Go out there and help the community. It's a great thing to do to help out Harvest Ministries and the city of Roswell.
Absolutely. So please serve with, and if you want to volunteer, but I'd even offer our civic groups, organize your food drives. If you're having your summer events, say, hey, bring canned food and we'll donate it to Harvest Ministries or something for the event. If you want to work it in as a discounter, but think about that, as particularly during the summer months here, because like we said, this is when the demand's higher. More clientele are in need at this time. Everything increases except the food supply coming in. It decreases.
Right.
That's the weird variable about this time of year.
And Mike, right now, anyone who goes to the grocery store knows how high food cost is right now.
You bought a gallon of milk lately? Or you bought a hamburger?
Yeah. You used to say it was hard to go in the grocery store and get out for less than $30. It seems like right now it's hard to go in and get out for less than $90. Just for a few bags.
Absolutely.
And also, food banks are, because of that, food banks are really hard hit. And Roadrunner, for example, I used to order food from Roadrunner. We also do the rescue from our local retailers that are very, very generous with us.
They keep it going.
But I used to order from Roadrunner. I would have like 12 pages I could order from. Right now, there is one page. That's how much less food there are.
It's across the board.
It is.
Even the normal. So now more than ever, the onus is on the public to help fill that void, that gap here. So all of the civic organizations, when you have your next meetings, maybe put something on the agenda about maybe doing a food drive or some kind of way to help out Harvest Ministries get food here. I know we got a lot of great service in this town. I want to put Harvest Ministries needs on your radar because we need to rally and support here. But you can start by, we'll just say lawn and leaf bag. Go to your favorite hardware store. I don't care which one. Get you that 50-gallon, like you just put leaves in it bag. And grab that, and then start clearing off shelves in your pantry.
Oh, yeah. we have between now and Saturday.
Yeah, start going, or get to the grocery store and buy up all the canned goods. It's
spring cleaning time. You might as well start in the kitchen.
You might as well, that's right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Go through your pantry and...
For sure.
And let's help out, and then let's get to the point where we have space issues because we got so much food.
Yeah.
That's the problems I want to hear about.
Yeah. We love those kind of problems. Yes, we do.
For sure.
And, of course, if anybody has any questions about anything, you can always reach out to Harvest Ministries on Facebook. Come by. I don't think there's anything online for letter carriers.
No, there isn't right now. But like I said, if you have any, we have the donation location there at the main post office. It's 415 North Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
You could donate there before, and if you have any questions, you can call the local post office. They'll give you some information.
They can talk.
And if you have problems, getting the food out to the door, you could leave a note in the mailbox. Say, hey, I can't get the food out to the, I can't carry it out. We'll go help you.
Absolutely. We'll make it happen. And you know what? This is time where neighbors need to help neighbors too. Look out for each other. If you got a neighbor that you know has those kind of issues,
hey, I take that over there for you. For sure.
Be neighborly.
For sure.
And of course, call Harvest Ministries. Give the phone number for Harvest Ministries.
575-624-2415. And like you said, they can also go to our Facebook page.
Yeah.
Or to our webpage, harvestmen.net.
Very good. And if you want to volunteer, if you're in a need, certainly come out here. But or if you're a civic organization wants to get more involved, or who knows, maybe if we're having some volunteer issues, maybe it's like I don't know, insert service organization day here. All your Altruisans or Kiwanians or whatever are going to spend the day at Harvest Ministry. Even if we need to do that, let's talk. But the demand will increase, the supplies and the resources are decreasing. That's a bad combination. We need to rally to get that.
And then also social media is a great tool for us. So post it on your Facebook, Instagram.
Share the wealth.
Say, hey, food drives this weekend.
Absolutely, yeah. Tell your neighbors,
Take
tell
some
your
pictures,
friends.
post them online. Say, hey, look, I'm helping out this year. It'd be great.
Yeah, while you're at the grocery store. Or,
Every year, my daughter sends me a picture of the grandkids putting out, their bag, and it's so awesome.
That self-promotion gets so many eyeballs on these kind of things. So, yeah, definitely do that. Or, make it a family thing. Show them the kids getting involved.
Show those pictures.
And doing all that. And share the love and spread the word. And like we said, leave your food out by your mailboxes here on Saturday for your letter carriers. Or I guess you can do both unless you got a P.O. box. Just drop it off at the main post office here on Pennsylvania. So,
yes. Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Getting the word out for us.
Anything else, Mark, that on the Harvest Ministry side we wanted to share that we didn't get a chance to?
We've got our bottomless triathlon coming up on July 13th, and Harvest Ministries the charity for that. So,
awesome.
We'll get you back in.
Go out and ride your bike and swim and run and jump in on it.
Hey, start your training. Get a couple sacks of canned goods.
There you go.
Do a Rocky situation
around.
To get you going.
For sure.
You can run it to the post office from your house here. Very good. Well, thank you guys. We appreciate it. Thank you guys for your service, Amelia. Well, I'm safe to say we'll see you next year.
Oh, yeah. God willing.
We don't have to wait till next year. That's all. But thank you guys.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, 7:55. Quick break to pay for ads, and it's political season, so we got a few of those in there too. So quick break before news. Don't go away.
Greg Nybert has a strong conservative record, supporting the right to life, working to protect our conservative values, and standing up for the Second Amendment. That's why he's endorsed by the NRA. Greg Nybert has a record of opposing the liberal, progressive Santa Fe agenda. He has consistently stood against illegal immigration, Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham's harmful progressive agenda, and policies that try to take away our rights and freedoms. He has stood up for us time and time again, especially when our rights have been under attack. Greg is a champion for our communities, our values, and our way of life. Greg Nybert has a record that we can count on. He is a strong supporter of our oil and gas jobs, which is so essential to Southeast New Mexico. We need Senator Greg Nybert in Santa Fe. He is a proven, committed conservative and a strong voice for Eastern New Mexico.
Paid for by Greg Nybert for State Senate.
Ever had someone do something kind and out of the ordinary for you? How did that make you feel? I know for me, it brightens my day. Hi, this is Pastor Troy and Julie Smotherman for The Joy of Marriage.
Galatians 6:9 says, "Let us not get tired of doing what's right, for after a while we will reap a harvest of blessing if we don't get discouraged and give up." I've learned when you don't know what to do, just do the next right thing. Keep sowing good things into your spouse and your family. Be patient. God promises He will give you a harvest. It will make a difference. A successful farmer just keeps on working and expects to have a great harvest.
I know when my husband brings me flowers, it blesses me. So do something unexpected for your spouse. It will pay off.
If you have any questions or would like further information about the Joy of Marriage Ministry, please go to jomconference.com.
The great one, Mark Levin, is now in Roswell on 106.5 KEND Roswell.
I'm John Scott. There's been more damage from dangerous storms in parts of the Midwest.
Storms throughout the Midwest continued early Wednesday, bringing heavy rain, gusty winds, and tornadoes. Hours earlier, tornadoes were spotted in Indiana, Ohio, and Michigan, where a Portage resident named Dave tells WZZM he realized he needed to get to a safer part of the house.
I was looking out my picture window